It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels.
Hello guys, what's happening? Just giving me 1 sec to get started. I'm trying to make sure that I can see my baby monitor properly. I was going to say, you guys on the stream can't, you don't want to see my baby monitor. I need to see it though. Good evening, good evening. We normally play a live game on Wednesday night. Obviously this is not a live game. This is painting because apparently if you go to tournaments you have to have your 3 colours in your models. And when you make YouTube videos for most of the week, you don't get all that much time to paint apparently. So I need to get a bunch of these guys with base paint, whatever you call it, texture paint on their bases, and probably at least 1 more colour on them. So we can hang out for a couple hours, paint some models. If you need to get painted models, then now's the time to get your models painted. Looks the stream is a tiny little bit behind for where I am, but assume you guys can hear me okay? was going to say, if you can't hear me okay, please let me know. I'm assuming everyone can hear me. Good evening. Miguel, Dracula, Kevin, hello, how are you? I'm well, thanks. I'm trying to think what colour I'm going to start with. Probably going to just put a bit of black on these guys. Could also do their eyes. We could start with something like Warpstone Green in their eyes, and then we could put on some Chaos Black. And that would probably get them to like a 4-colour state where they're not... Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys here that could definitely use green eyes. Yeah. And you know, everybody here could almost use green eyes, so that's where we're starting. Miguel! White shoulder trim on which model? This, I don't typically do white shoulder trims, I usually do black shoulder trims. So I'm saying maybe I'll move this so you guys can see my palette. What is happening, everybody, though? Everybody well? Everybody seen some of the preview leaks of the new Codex Space Marines? I don't have the Codex yet. As soon as I get the Codex, I will jump into it. I'm getting it probably the same day as all you guys on the 14th, I feel like it is. Is it not next Saturday? Saturday the 14th, yeah. Good evening, DTM. The Stored in Steel YouTube channel has the new Marine points for anyone looking for them. Wow, okay, I didn't realise that. Are we supposed to use points from the Codex, or are we supposed to use points from, like, the sheet that they put on, like, Warhammer Community sort of thing? Like, where are we supposed to be using the points from? I suppose it'll tell us in the Codex, will it? Like I said, I don't have the Codex. I was watching The Painting Phase, which is a podcast done by a couple of ex-GW employees. It's a good podcast. I give them a shout out, I don't mind. If you've never watched The Painting Phase and you like my channel, you'd probably enjoy The Painting Phase. And they were saying that apparently to be in the influencer program now at Games Workshop, you need 30,000 subscribers. So the chances of me getting there I feel are slim to none. You absolutely do not use the points from the Codex. Okay, well that's what I thought. So are we not just using the points from like the data slate that they put out recently, or is there another points drops? I'm using the free app, Kevin. I know you only get one list, but I mean I only typically play one list at a time. And I suppose once you've made that one list, could you not just export it to like a Google Doc or a Google Doc or a Notepad document, and then just delete it and make another list? I don't know. I haven't subscribed anyway to Warhammer Plus yet, and I didn't buy the cards. I wasn't entirely sure if I needed to buy the cards. I figure if I need the cards, I could probably just take a photo of the picture in the Codex and either print it or just keep it on my phone for going to events. So yeah, I'm a cheapskate when it comes to that. Big cheapskate. Hello, Rez. Good evening. Ruben says we got the finals of a 128-man TTS tournament as Blood Angels. You got to the finals, Ruben. Congratulations. You playing Sons of Sanguinius Detachment or what? I've still never used TTS. I like throwing the dice. I like going somewhere and throwing the dice. I'm sure I probably would like TTS if I learned it, but I should probably put these guys on a painting handle for doing their eyes, but I'm going to be jumping across a lot of models quickly tonight because I'm going to be just trying to get so many colours done. Quick, coming in with a Battle Brother membership. Dude, thank you so much. It's like the first stream of the month, so getting new members in is awesome. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was a Warhammer Plus subscriber for the first year, Rezio, you know that, but my problem is that, like, yeah, having a job, having 2 kids, and then making my own content means I barely have time to consume other content. It's bad. I know it's bad, but hey, that's the way that my life is at the moment. I always feel like I have to ask what content is good to consume, because I don't have hours in the day to sit around and consume content as much as I'd like to. Doesn't work for me, unfortunately. Hey, what's up, Quick? Thank you so much. They changed the one salamander character could mean that Mephiston or Seth could go with the blade guard. I mean, Seth, I was going to say, what can Seth even attach to now? Because he can attach to Assault Marines and Vanguard Veterans, both of which are gone, right? So, like, does Seth even, like, he can attach to maybe a tactical squad or something? You wouldn't want to attach Seth to a tactical squad. That's a horrible mismatch. But yeah, I mean, I guess if Vanguard Veterans without jump packs are going to be gone in the Codex, Assault Marines with and without jump packs are going to be gone in the Codex, so what can Seth even attach to? Start Maximum says, I love the tactical sensation of throwing dice and moving models, but TTS is incredible convenience. Yeah, I had James on the channel. James was a channel member, and he lives in Chicago, and he said, like, he was here where I was in Scotland on business, and we played a game on the channel, and it was actually really fun, and it was nice. He's a really sound guy, and he was like, have you got TTS? And I was like, I don't. And he's like, are you getting it? And I was like, I wasn't planning on it, but I guess I probably should get it so that I can play people across the other side of the world without physically going there. That would probably be a good thing for me. I think for me as well, part of it is like, if I'm in the house though, like on a Wednesday night when I go out to do my live battle reports normally, I get to skip bedtime. But tonight I had to put the kids to bed. So if I'm in the house, then I have to do jobs. Whereas if I get out once a week to play my live game, then I don't have to do jobs. So maybe that's my reluctance to get TTS in a nutshell. How easy is it to set up TTS though? Is it pretty easy? Or I assume there's probably some YouTube videos on how to do it, is it? Reziel's in painting mode this week using Blood Angels and Game of Chaos Space Marines on Saturday. Yeah, my tournament is on the 18th of November. So I actually have quite a lot of time. But I figured that any battle report I did this week was going to kind of be nullified straight away by the new Space Marine Codex as well. So I thought to myself, this just seems like a good week to take a break from the battle reports. Plus I like hanging out to speaking to you guys. I can't interact with you guys the same on the live games because I'm always... Like last week's live game was a good example where like I barely interacted with the chat because I was basically shitting myself the whole game. There we go. That's why I need super chats, guys, because I can never not swear on stream. So that'll be me demonetized already for saying shit. So that's just who I am. It's funny because see, when I'm in front of my kids, I don't swear. I always spell out the swear words. So I'll go like, oh, F-U-C-K, you know, like I'll swear. But when I'm around adults, I just swear like anything. Anyway, yeah. So like I can't interact with you guys the same when I'm like last week. I think Andrew was 32 points ahead going into turn 5. So like, you know when they always say like great chess players are like 2 turns ahead? That's where I am. I'm trying to like predict like a turn in advance in my head how the hell I'm going to make up 32 points in the final turn, and can I even make up 32 points in the final turn, because I think that might have been the furthest I've ever been behind in a game of 40k. And well, the furthest I've probably ever been behind going into turn 5 and winning the game, right? So yeah, like I can't really interact with chat very much at that point because it's just like I'm just trying desperately to win. Good evening, Sean. How are you? Watching with a 3-year-old Blood Angels obsessed son. Oh, yeah. All right, we'll try and keep the language down. Sorry, Sean. My daughter was trying to say sanguinary guard the other day because they were out on my desktop and on my table, and she was really struggling with the sanguinary part. It's quite cute though. I let my 1-year-old hold one of the models. Like I think he was holding one of these heavy intercessors and he just did not want to let go of it. I know. I need to get TTS Reziel. Then maybe we could play a game. What's the legality of streaming games on TTS? Does anyone know? Like, if I own all the models that I'm using on TTS, is it legal for me to record TTS footage? There's probably something in that. I think that's possibly one of the reasons I haven't used it as well, because I'm not actually sure. Do people stream games on YouTube using TTS? For anyone that doesn't know, TTS means Tabletop Simulator. It's like It's like a Steam game, I think. I don't think it's that expensive, like maybe 10, 15 bucks, maybe 20 bucks, I don't know. Where you can play board games with your friends, like, I guess, using like I don't know what you call it, a virtual table or something? I guess it would be a virtual table, right? People stream on Twitch, no problem. Okay, interesting. I mean, I do own all the models and all the rules, so I guess if you own everything, then I would assume it would be fine. Who knows? People stream it plenty. I don't know about YouTube. I could have a look on YouTube. Hadley says, "Morning, brothers," and Reziel, it's hard. I agree, it's easy once you get used to it. Yeah, I mean, maybe over the Christmas holidays I'll spend some time. Maybe one of you guys from chat can give me like a crash course in TTS. I feel like I should probably learn how to use it. I'm quite stubborn like that. Like, I just get set in my old... I think I'm an old man now. I was 40 this week, so I can officially tell you that I'm now old. I'm 40. You youngins in chat. You know, some people are probably older than me in chat. I mean, it'll happen. But yeah, I am 40. So I'm probably just old and stubborn, and that's probably one of the reasons that I haven't played with TTS, honestly. You ever find that when you get older, then people tell you how to do something, and you just think to yourself, that's not how I do that, and then you just sort of like, I don't know if you want to say blank them, but you're just like, yeah, no, that's not how I do that, so I just do it my way. It's my way or the highway. Tabletop Sim is not free, you have to buy the client. Yeah, you buy the client on Steam, right, and then you can download mods and stuff. Smithy, I might be a few months older than you, John. Fair enough. I mean, is it good? At our age, it's probably better to be younger, right? Like, when you're young, you want to be older, but when you're older, you want to be younger. Mitchell says being stubborn is a choice. Yeah, I mean, probably. Rosario's 42. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are actually kind of older, or a lot of people in the chat are a little bit older, maybe. Yeah, I suppose you're right, being stubborn is a choice. But I'm the first to admit it. I said straight out, I was like, I'm a stubborn old man, I know I am. I actually have really no idea what colours to paint this biologist. I don't really paint apothecaries much, I always used to paint like sanguinary priests, right? So, I'm going to put some black onto these guys' shoulder pads because I feel like that'll just give them a little bit more definition, and then we're going to put some colours on that biologist. That's my plan. Sean says, happy birthday, you're still younger than me. Okay. It was a great birthday, actually. I went to the Dundee United football game. Dundee United are the team that I supported since I was a very young age, and we won 4-1, so that was really nice. Because I've been to Dundee United before on my birthday, and we've not won. So, like I said, he's 52, but he's stubborn since the age of 2. Yeah, maybe it's just a man thing, actually. Paint him like you would a sanguinary priest. That would have been a clever idea, but I sprayed him white. Typically, I think if I was going to do a sanguinary priest, I'd either... I think I did one of my sanguinary priests gold now. Now you've got me second guessing if I played... Maybe I painted one of my sanguinary priests white. Maybe I did that. Well, do you know what? When we get to it, I'll Google what sanguinary priest looks like, and then I'll just copy some ideas from the sanguinary priest, I guess. That's my plan. So, I was tomorrow night I've got a community post going out on the channel asking people what they actually bought in this week's pre-order, right? Because this week's pre-order was like the Jump Intercessors, the Jump Captain, I guess like Sternguard, Terminators, Company Heroes. So like, what did people buy that they're most excited about? And what did people buy that they're not excited about? Because I bought Jump Intercessors, and I feel like that was probably a bad idea because I don't even know if I want to include Jump Intercessors in my army because like they only have chainswords, and I don't like I guess I just don't like chainswords in this current edition. I just don't think they're very good at killing things whatsoever, really. So it's like I bought a squad that only have chainswords, even though I think chainswords kind of suck. I've actually made a video about that. I'm going to release it in a couple of days. I just got finished editing it before I came on the stream here like 10 minutes ago. But yeah, no, I bought the jump intercessors. Strange name for them as well, right? So you've got assault intercessors who are on foot, and you've got jump intercessors and a jump pack. I feel like they could have... Yeah, I felt like it was a bit of a strange name. We never had units that were called jump before, but maybe that's just me being picky. But yeah, so I bought them, and I bought the... What are they called? I bought the captain with the jump pack. I have a couple of Primaris captains that I made previous to this edition already that I'd given jump packs. But I feel like this one has the Primaris jump pack, and also this one has a Power Fist. I never gave... Oh, balls. I never gave my captains Power Fists before, but I feel like Power Fist is the way to go now. It's a little bit annoying that the Thunderhammer isn't very good anymore, but I kind of feel like I need to make a captain with a Power Fist in case that becomes good, or in case that becomes meta. I'm not sure it is good or meta right now, but I think it might be good, or it might wait till like the Blood Angels Codex comes out to be good. But I did buy it. Rizzo says, I think the jump intercessors are nice and cheap, but I don't like the kit. Yeah, I mean, it's funny that, you know, like, the one detachment that the jump intercessors would be really good in is the Stormlance, right? Because they fall back and charge, and every time you charge, you do mortal wounds, but Stormlance doesn't lend itself very well to any of our other units. So you would be taking the Stormlance for just jump intercessors. And I find it hard to believe people are going to run 30 jump intercessors. I don't think they're good enough. I really don't think they're good enough. They're like they're basically a worse version of the assault squad, because you lose your eviscerators and you lose your special weapons, right? Maybe you could run 10 of them, or maybe you could run 15 of them, but I don't know if you can run 30 jump intercessors. Well, I mean, you can run them, I'm talking about more in terms of, like, will you be competitive if you want to just run 30 jump intercessors. There's more point decreases on the way. The new scouts are 55 points, the Tech Marine is 55 points. What is the Tech Marine currently? Was he 65? Kevin is printing jump packs for assault intercessors. I split that many blocks. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Kevin. I have 30 assault intercessors, or maybe it's 20 assault intercessors and 10 regular intercessors. So I'm literally going to make a video where I ask Games Workshop to sell the jump packs from those new guys, like, separately, like they did with the Firstborn jump packs, because I don't want to... I've got too many intercessors, and at some point I'll do what you're doing, which is like 3D print them. My friend Andrew, you know Andrew from the streams, he's got a 3D printer and he prints loads of stuff, like you know, if you need an extra multi-melter or something, Andrew will print it. So I'm gonna make a video where I ask Games Workshop, like, if they would just sell those extra weapon options, and if they would just sell those jump packs, because if they don't sell them, at some point they become too expensive and people 3D print them, and then when people 3D print them, Games Workshop make no money, right? So my opinions are my own, and I'm going to put that in the video as well. So I don't know anything. I don't have any deal with Games Workshop or anything like that, but my opinion is they should sell the jump packs, because if they don't sell them, people will find ways of getting them anyway. That's the way the world works, right? If people can find something cheaper or easier, they will do it. I was going to say, I even have I've got these... Smithy sent me some sprues. What a champion he is. He sent me some sprues in the mail. And one of the sprues he sent me... I was going to say, I think it's right here, Slippy. Yeah. One of the sprues he sent me because he's a superstar, is this chaplain with the winged jump pack thing. This thing. And I already put this winged jump pack. I guess it's the chap. This is just a Blood Angels chaplain, or is he even Blood? Yeah, he's Blood Angels because he's got like the Death Company shoulder pad type thing going on here. He's a cool helmet as well, actually. Very cool. So I've got this wing jump pack thanks to Smithy. So I think when I make my jump chapter captain, I guess, with the power fist. I'm not sure if you can take an infernal pistol. That's a good question, actually. Can a Blood Angels jump captain take an infernal pistol anymore, or have we lost that option? Their Hammer of Wrath Mercian is pretty meh as well. I haven't read their Hammer of Wrath Mercian, Rez. Is it like the units in engagement range or something? Is it like more limited than the assault one, is it? I didn't know they had a different version of Hammer of Wrath, honestly, to the Assault Intercessors. I thought it was just going to be the same version of Hammer of Wrath. I really don't mind giving GW money for the products. Yeah, me neither. And sometimes I'd rather do it. I'd rather give GW the money than have to mess around on eBay and stuff. Because last edition I had to do a lot of messing around on eBay to get like storm shields and all sorts of nonsense. It was like sometimes, like I said, if they don't sell them, they don't make any money. And people will go to eBay and people will go to 3D printers. So I'm just going to give my opinion and tell them that. Because I think for me, for like when I was needing like, I think I needed 30 storm shields. And if you go to eBay, every single storm shield was like $2 or $3, but then you would have to pay postage on every single one, which was another $2 or $3. What that resulted in was about $5 per storm shield. So it's like, there's no way I'm paying $5 per storm shield when I need like 20 of them. That's $100 on storm shields. I'll just go to like a third-party website and order 20 of their storm shields for like £20 and be done with it. Like, I don't really care if the storm shields are, as long as they fit nicely on the model, right? Odgar, I'm afraid if GW sold jump packs for Primaris, they won't make considerably less selling the kit. People doing their own stuff won't outweigh sales lost to people willing to buy the full kit. Well, that's the $1 million question, Podgar. And I'll tell you where I am at with it. Is I will buy one squad of jump intercessors, right? So I mean, they'll make the money from me for one squad of them, because for me it's a bit of a novelty, right? Like, it's like I'll buy one squad at full price, sure. Because I want to at least maybe try jump intercessors. But if I need to run more than 5 jump intercessors, I'm 100% proxying all my old assault marines. If I can buy cheap jump packs from Games Workshop, I don't, like they sell jump packs at the moment where it was like, oh, let me turn my phone on to silent. Sorry, I was going to say that text might actually interrupt my camera for a second. Yeah, I think it did. Sorry. Are we back? Nope, my app crashed. Nice. Oh yeah, it majorly crashed. It crashed on the PC as well. Yeah, so my thought is I'll buy one squad at the full price. And if I need more than that, I'll proxy old models. I'm not really willing to... I've lost a lot of models as of late, right? Like, a lot of my stuff has gone Legends. Probably like £1,000 worth of stuff has gone Legends. Like, I haven't added it up, but it's pretty disgusting how much stuff I've lost of late. I should probably add it up and work out a monetary value. But I honestly think I've lost like £1,000 of late from units that have gone to the Legends. I've lost a lot, right? Like, I was going through a bunch of drawers and I was just like, wow, this is so much Legends stuff. So much stuff lost to Legends. So I'll buy one box, Podger. Some people, I guess, if you've got unlimited money and you don't have kids and you don't have a family to support, maybe you're fine buying multiple boxes, but like, I'm not, I guess. So I'll buy my one box and I'll ask for the jump packs. If they don't do the jump packs, then I'll have one squad that have the legit jump packs, and I'll wait and I'll find someone that's either going to 3D print the jump packs for me, or I'll buy some from like Cromlech. Like Cromlech's a bit supplier in the UK. Or third option is I've seen a bunch of photos of people using Firstborn jump packs on Primaris Marines. It looks totally fine. Like, they actually look pretty good. Like, there's no issue with using Firstborn jump packs with Primaris Marines. You can even buy the Firstborn jump packs from Games Workshop, and they are £6 for 5, so like $1.20 a jump pack. And like, you know, when I was comparing it a minute ago to like $5 per Storm Shield, $1.20 a jump pack's totally reasonable. So like, they probably won't remove those jump packs from the website without telling people they're removing them. So if they decide that they're going to remove the Firstborn jump packs from the web store, they'll probably put them on like a limited edition made to order. You could buy them, well, you would know that they're going off sale, so you could buy some. If we don't think that if Primaris jump packs don't get released on their own sprue, I might just do that. That seems like the easiest way. But I'll tell you, I'm not gonna replace, like, if they do the same thing for the Blood Angels Death Company and stuff, there's no way I'm replacing 30 Death Company jump packs. There's no way I'm spending like £150 on that. I mean, the only way we can win is if people vote for their wallet, with their wallet, right? And that would be £150 buying with the 20% off from resellers, because I buy all my stuff from resellers because I'm cheap and I want cheap stuff. Lots of comments coming. Titan says I didn't pre-order any of the new units and I'm waiting to see how good they are before getting them. But I did pre-order the new Codex. I mean, that's a good plan, actually. I always recommend asking your friends if you can proxy some units if you're not sure. You know, like the first time I played Heavy Intercessors, I didn't have Heavy Intercessors, I just had other Marines that had the same size base. And just said to my friends, like, hey, can I use these Terminators as Heavy Intercessors? Because Terminators have the same base size, I'm pretty sure. And then after I've played them a few games, I'll decide if I want to spend, like, you know, whatever it costs on the Heavy Intercessors. Because it is expensive if you buy a unit and then they're just useless. And that has happened, right? Like, Reavers, for example, have been literally useless ever since they were introduced. Like, I can't remember a single time I thought Reavers were any good whatsoever. They've just been a completely wasted... I don't know what they are. They're a complete waste of points is what they are, I guess. Sean says not only the cost of models gone to Legends, but the time invested building and painting them is a bummer. Yeah, it's a huge bummer, Sean. I was really down for a few weeks after that happened. I mean, I guess we gotta suck it up and move on, but like... That's why I was hoping that if we ask for a singular set of Primaris jump packs to be bought, they might be like, well, you know, we did Legends a bunch of their stuff, so we could do that. I think more... It's hard to say. Podger's right, though. Like, how many more people would buy the jump packs against the whole big unit of guys? I don't know. I feel like I have more Primaris Marines on sprues than I ever had Firstborn Marines on sprues. You know, like, I've got like 20 Infernus Marines, they could be converted. I got like 20 Assault Marines, they could be converted. Like, I got loads. It's just the jump packs I need, basically.
I'm nervous when we get Primaris Blood Angels units that are going to struggle with weapon options, says Kevin. I'm really nervous about that as well, Kevin. Like, I'm really worried about that. All I can do is say what I feel on my stream and try and get somebody at Games Workshop to listen, right? Like, a good example of that, and I think I even mentioned it in my video this week that's coming out on Friday, is that like Death Company Intercessors have been such an anticlimactical unit, like, and I feel like nobody uses them. Well, I think maybe like 1% of Blood Angels players use Death Company Intercessors. Everybody still uses the Firstborn because the Firstborn units make sense. But it's kind of hard because they've done this thing where everything has the set points cost now. And the set points costs kind of make some units a bit confused, I would say, right? Like Death Company are a bit confused because it's like, why would you ever run Death Company with chainswords now when for the same points you can take a Power Fist? Power Fist does more AP and double the damage, and you lose one attack, but I think you're quite willing to lose one attack to do double the damage on every attack and have double the strength and double the AP. There's a lot of doubles for one attack, right? For chainswords to be competitive with those Power Fists, they probably need to have 6 attacks. Literally double the number of attacks, and then even then I'm not convinced they're competitive because the Power Fists have more AP. Peaches says, I always dig the music on this channel. It reminds me a lot of Command and Conquer growing up. I'm glad you said that, Peaches. Welcome to the channel, by the way. What about this? Here you go. There's the original Command and Conquer. I love the old boxes for video games. You remember when video games came in boxes this size? Look at this. You get I've still got the card insert. An exclusive offer. What's this exclusive offer for? Oh, look. Oh, I was going to say, that's okay. That's my old address that's on there. It's not important. But I've got an exclusive offer for £16.50. Or for $19.95. Remember when games were cheap? This was from April. Offer ends 5th of April 1997, so I've just missed it. It includes Super VGA graphics and smooth screen scrolling. They actually wrote smooth screen scrolling on like their flyer. Like that's a feature of the video game. Like because most games the screen doesn't scroll smoothly. They even have a phone number. I guess this is honestly before the internet, and a postal address. Yeah, and I got the manual there too as well. Look at that. You remember when video games came with like nice manuals? Oh, the days, man. I kept all this shit. I love CNC. The Covert Operations was the first game I ever had for my PC. And that was I think it was 1995, 96 or something. Yeah. Well, thanks for the comment, Beaches. Welcome to the channel. The new kit is 2 sprues for $37.50. No way they make jump. No way they make jump pack only sprue and sell it anything less than $15 for 5. That's not really viable for GW. I mean, $15 for 5 jump packs, Podger, seems expensive. But I think that might... Like, I think I'd prefer it if they did that than if they don't do it. And can you get 20% off, like, from the resellers? So 20% off brings it back down to £12 for 5 jump packs? Like, the price... The thing is, if they don't do that, then people just won't buy them. Right? Like, people just get someone that they know to 3D print them. Peaches says, it's his 29th birthday today. Wish him happy birthday in chat. His uncle who passed away a couple of years ago introduced me to CNC and hooked me on it. Oh, that's nice, man. Sorry to hear about your uncle. Happy birthday, Phil. There's a new game coming out on Steam, actually, called Tempest Rising. It's got the same composer as the original Command & Conquer. And I actually covered it on my other channel. I've got a video for it if you want to see it. And... it's basically a clone of the original Command & Conquer from the 90s.
$5 via Super Chat. That's amazing. Today's my 29th birthday and my uncle who passed away a couple of years ago introduced me to that exact CNC, hooked me from then on.
Yeah, I think for me, I've always loved like both turn-based strategy and real-time strategy. Like, strategy is my forte, 100%. I really liked the XCOM games that came out a couple of years ago. Really liked XCOM. And I was going to say there's another game that I really liked. Turn-based strategy, real-time strategy. Oh, I was liking that Chaos Gate game that came out, the Warhammer 40,000 one that was basically like an XCOM clone. As you play as the Grey Knights. I have a few videos of that up on the channel, and that's a cool strategy game. It usually goes on the Steam sales when there's Steam sales too. I think you can get it like probably honestly half price if you wait for the Steam sales, and Steam sales come all the time, man. It's like one of the known factors of the universe that Steam sales just come all the time. Oh, cool! Everyone's wishing you happy birthday. Congrats, Peaches. 29, man. That's you got one more year, right? Because when you hit 30, that's when shit starts to, you wake up morning, you're like, oh, my knee's sore, or oh, wake up and oh, my back's sore. Like you're at your prime at 29. So make the most of it, honestly, dude, because like, yeah, once you hit 40, like, you just wake up and it's like, oh, this part of me's sore, and ain't no spring chicken anymore, that's for sure. Bonga got into Warhammer in 2020 and don't ever think I've seen the jump packs in stock on US Games Workshop website. Oh man. I knew that they had some stock problems like with the US stuff, but I never knew it was quite that bad. They're usually always in stock here in the UK. Maybe what you could do is do a bigger order from the UK at some point, so you only have to pay like postage once or something and get some of those things that are out of stock. I did have a look before for like a good US reseller. I don't know one, but I think Valrak has one. I think it's called like Hobby Workshop. Is that a US reseller? Sean says XCOM was amazing, still play that sometimes. Yeah, I wish there was more like it. I noticed that they have XCOM on the iPad now. And I was like, wow, that'd be pretty cool, because I quite often get stuck on the iPad because I have to look after the kids and stuff, and I can't really sit at my desktop looking after the kids, but I can sit at the iPad, while the kids watch a movie or something. And I was like, man, I might need to buy XCOM for my iPad so that I have something to do when the kids are watching Peter Pan for like the millionth time on repeat. It was funny, actually. I told my kid we're going to have a movie night and said you can choose any movie you want, and we went through like all the different Disney movies on Disney Plus, and then we watched the exact same movie we watched the week before, and I was just like, oh my god, like, just pick something new. Kids will do that though. Do you ever remember when you were a kid and you would watch the same movie over and over and over? And back in our day, right, we had to rent the movie, so you had to go to the video shop and pay money to get the movie, because there was no streaming, there was nothing like that. So every week you went back to the video shop and you rented the same movie. For me, that movie, guys, tell me what your movie was, but for me, that movie was Transformers the movie, the cartoon from like 1984. I think every single week I rented that movie. And I think I know the words off by heart. Did I thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Peaches? I appreciate it. Thank you. Reziel was a child at 29. I think most of us were a child at 29, but that still doesn't mean you don't have to enjoy being 29. Almarto, good evening. Hello. Miguel says, bro, adults do that. They've watched Flash Gordon a total of 32 times in 2 years. Man, no. I don't know if I could watch the same movie and not fall asleep. Like, even my favorite movie, I don't know if I watch it more than like once every 5 years or once every 10 years. We're all just children, says Evan. Yeah, I mean, we are. We paint models, right? We can hardly say we're not kids. What else have I missed in the chat? If I miss your comment and you're desperate for me to read it, you can do it. You can put it out there again. If you're a member, remember, members get a free super chat once per month. You just click the big $ sign next to the chat box, and as a member, you can do a free super chat. I feel like a lot of the people that are members don't do that, because I have like 100 members. So like, please remember to, if you ever need to get my attention in a stream or something, use your free super chat. It's there to be used. It just like resets every month. So if you don't use it, I mean, technically you lose it and you can use it again next month. But yeah. Before cell phones, we all read game manuals. Yeah, I mean, before cell phones, there's a lot of things that we read. You know, the one thing that I thought that, like, I kind of miss, and I was saying to my wife the other day, a super old Green Day song came on in the car, like super old Green Day song, like Dookie. I can't remember what the song was, but it was from the Dookie album, right? But what I do remember is the song that came after it in the album. And like back in the day, you listened to like cassettes of albums or CDs of albums. And when the song finished, I said to my wife, and I don't remember what song it was, but I know that the song came after it was like, there's a song on the Dookie album called She, and it starts like, she sleeps in silence. I said to my wife, like, I don't know if our kids will ever have that. Remember when you used to listen to an album so much that like, you knew what song was next on the album? You just don't get that these days. It's like, it's kind of sad. Like I used to, I mean, maybe it's not sad. Maybe it's like a nostalgia thing that I had. But I enjoyed getting an album and listening to the album. And for me, it always felt like there was hidden gems on the album. You know, like bands release their singles or whatever, but there's always a hidden gem on the album. And quite often, your favorite song from the album is not going to be the one that they release on the radio to get 10 million listens to, right? So I was like, I feel like it's a little bit sad that we've kind of lost that now, that you don't listen to albums anymore. You just punch in your favorite, you punch in the one song you heard on the radio to like Apple Music or Spotify, and you listen to that and you lose your one album. But bit of a random thing. So has anyone been checking out the new Marine detachments? What are people's favourites? I see a lot of people have been asking, since I did the video came out last night about the Stormlance detachment. Everybody was saying like, hey John, you need to check out the Salamanders detachment. That's the one you're gonna like. So I feel like I'm gonna find out about the Salamanders detachment. I think it's the Firestorm one very, very soon. We're actually doing a live stream tomorrow night on the podcast, so we're going to be checking out, I don't exactly know what we're going into, but I think we're going into sort of a deep dive on the new Space Marine Codex tomorrow night. So that'll be live, not too late, not too much, like it's 9 o'clock here in the UK time right now. So on the podcast tomorrow night at 9:30, we're diving into the Space Marine Codex, so like half an hour from now tomorrow night. I guess we'll be live for like 2 hours. We'll probably be talking about all the detachments and maybe some of the unit data sheets as well. Obviously we can take questions from chat, we can discuss things, and then after I've done that I'll be a lot more like clued up and I guess prepared for making some of the videos, some of the new tactics videos from my channel, I guess, because the podcast is kind of like a shared channel, right? The Iron Hands one looks best, says
I have awoken.
What makes Iron Hands one look best? Terrence, I ask, Art of War and Death Company Dread fights more than once a turn. Yes, it does fight more than once a turn, Terrence, because it's an out of phase attack. And out of phase attacks are not in the phase that they're with. So yes, if you shoot a Death Company Dreadnought multiple times, it can shoot you back multiple times in a turn. If you combat it multiple times and it's not dead, I guess the same thing applies for shooting back. If it's not dead, you can shoot back multiple times. It's an out of phase attack. This one's been brought up a lot because a lot of people have different understandings of the rule. But my understanding of the rule is because you would attack in a different phase, because you're basically not fighting in the fight phase anymore because it's an out of phase ability, then you can fight back as often as you are fought. So the fun part about that, Terrence, is if two Death Company Dreadnoughts charge each other, then they will fight until the death. Because one will go, then the other one will go, then the other one will go, and they'll just keep going until one of them is dead. So that's what will happen if two Death Company Dreadnoughts come up against each other, and I think that's quite cool. But realistically, that's probably never going to happen in the lore, but it might be fun if it does happen on the tabletop. Shane says he played last night. 6-man Flamer Aggressors were fun and scary on Overwatch. Yeah, I mean, I guess Aggressors are a meta pick now. 6 Aggressors. Either with the Bolter Discipline build and the Bursting 5s and 6s, or I think that's the stronger of the two build, but I think the Flamer build is probably fine as well. Sean says he 100% hears the next song. His brain kicks in for where the next song would be in the album. I feel I'm yeah, it's a sad thing to have lost, man, Sean. It's just a different time, I guess. In 100 years' time, no one will ever know what it was. That's the scary thing. Hey, in 100 years' time, no one will even know what the Blood Angels commander was. There's a scary thing. Salamander's detachment with Death Company zipping around seems like fun. Yeah, I'm interested to break down the Salamander's detachment. It was kind of next on my to-do list, but I'd been excited to see what the Stormlance detachment was going to bring, because I thought it was going to be basically an advance and charge melee detachment. But it's not really, is it? It's an advance and charge detachment that's mainly based around mounted, and then based on like kind of what Reziel said in the comments. If you guys read all the comments, was like, I think the Stormlance detachment is probably best for Space Wolves or Dark Angels, right? Because like Blood Angels, you really only going to have Outriders as your mounted unit, and one of the stratagems that they've got gives mounted units lance. Well, like the only thing you can attach to mounted unit is a Primaris Chaplain, who already gives +1 to wound. So it was almost like it's just ill-conceived for those units, or it's ill-conceived for Blood Angels, I guess. It's not going to be something that we see. I mean, maybe some Blood Angels players will run it, because some people will try it and have fun with it, I'm sure, but it's not as strong as I'd hoped, that's for sure. I've never owned Flamer Aggressors either, Reziel. I built the Bolter ones because when the Bolter ones first came out, they were really, 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 really strong. And I actually really liked the old Aggressor rules. I was really sad when they changed them because I thought that they'd made Aggressors rubbish, but you know, the new rules are actually pretty... I was going to say, they may even be stronger than the rules that they had originally, which I think they obviously changed because they thought was too strong. Because it used to be that Aggressors could fire twice if they stand still, and that was really, really strong. It was super strong in Ultramarines, because Ultramarines, I think in Tactical Doctrine, always counted as standing still. But yeah, I mean, it's still crazy strong when you used to be able to stand still and shoot twice. I liked it a lot. Does anyone here have a homebrew Blood Angels chapter, says Bad Francis? That's a good question. You mean homebrew in terms of painting or homebrew in terms of lore? You could do a Captain on a Bike. I believe the Captain on a Bike's gone. Like, I think with the new Codex, he's gone. Am I right? I think you only have the Chaplain on the Bike now. I think the Captain on the Bike is gone. Another one of my models goes to Legends. It seems like everything that I do is cool, goes to Legends. Yeah, I think Stormlance will be cool, but I think it's cooler for Blood Angels and... Dark Angels and Space Marines. Yeah, Captain on the Bike's gone. Sad times. I loved that Captain on the Bike. He was like my go-to chapter master for the whole of 9th edition. I must have played like 200 games of 9th edition. I think I only didn't include him in like 3 army lists. I loved that Captain on the Bike. I almost feel like I needed to give him a name. Like he's retired now, so he needs a name. I actually built 2 captains on a bike as well. I actually built one that had like magnetized weapons so I could make him into Death Company captain. I hope they still do something with the Death Company characters. You know, like, I felt like 9th edition was a good step forward with like the chapter command updates. Or chapter command updates? Chapter command rules, I guess. Like, I liked that about 9th edition. But I guess, yeah, I guess it's kind of completely gone, so I don't know what will happen for, like, Death Company. Unless Blood Angels will get a stratagem that lets you put a character into the Death Company. Remember in, like, 9th edition, we had a stratagem. I think it cost, like, 1 CP before the battle, and you could put a character into the Death Company, and then you would get, like, what was it they used to get? Like, they got +1 attack and +1 wound, and then the feel no pain? Maybe it was just they gained the Black Rage. Maybe that was it. They gained the Black Rage. Maybe? Yeah. Anyone remember? Captain Bryco? I actually kind of like that, Bonga. I wish you'd said that like a year, maybe even, what, 2 years ago? That would have been the perfect name for him, Captain Bryco. Now he's retired and I mean, like, I don't play 30k. I don't even know if you can play a captain on a bike in 30k, but I guess he's completely retired now. John, the Blood Angels captain is one of the very first things I bonded to you on your channel. I love the conversion. We all did. Peak 40k love. Oh, it's very kind of you to say, Rezio. I hope there's some good opportunities for conversions at least. Again, like once we get our Codex or whatever, because I've got. That's kind of why I bought that new captain. Like, I'm not sure I need a captain with a Primaris jump pack and a Power Fist. Like, I probably really don't need him. I could probably just run one of my current Primaris captains, but I thought to myself, like, I really want to be able to make a conversion, so that's why I bought him. We haven't really been getting pre-game strats in 10th edition, says DTM. I think you're right, DTM. I mean, you're usually right, but like, it's very early in the edition. I feel like we could get a pre-game strat for some sort of upgrade. I mean, the Death Company would be a perfect example of where that would be, like, thematic and good, unless they do like a Death Company detachment. But I mean, a Death Company detachment does feel a bit weird because, like, there wouldn't really be a Death Company detachment, right? Like it's like each detachment of Blood Angels, like lore specific, would have a squad or two of Death Company guys. It's not like we would have a. It's not like they're like phone up the Death Company detachment, right? Like that doesn't exist. Yeah, we don't doubt DTM here on the channel. He's an honoured. He missed our battle report last week, and then he like left me a comment about a couple of mistakes we made. And then I said to him, how dare you leave me a comment about mistakes when you weren't here to referee it? So in the future, you're just not allowed to miss any of the battle reports, DTM. I mean, I think we've decided that here on this channel. So that's what has to happen, right? I can't even remember what mistakes we made last week. I know at the very end of the game I could have got 2 more points because I'd stickied my home objective and I moved off of it I moved off of it, not by accident. I moved off of it because I wanted to score a second rate, but I could have actually done it because it was stickied. Bonga says, I built a chapter master with a bike after seeing your video. He was the first model I fully painted up and inspired me to finish the rest of my 2,000 points. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Bonga. It's pretty cool when my random... Because my painting isn't great. I know that, I'm the first to admit that. My painting is very much battle ready. So it's nice to hear that somebody was inspired by one of my conversions. Conversions is where I prefer doing... I was going to say, I don't know if I prefer it. I like doing the conversions, I guess, probably more than... do I like it more than the painting? I think I can put more character into the conversions, maybe. Because my painting's very much just battle ready, so maybe that's what it is. I like to... But yeah, no, I'm glad it inspired you. Unfortunately, the captain on the bike, I guess he's earned his retirement. He was good while he lasted. I remember at the beginning of 9th edition when you could give him like... He could have like a 2-up save, he could have a 5-up feel no pain, he could reroll 1 save every turn, he could have like 7 wounds. Oh, he was a boss. I loved him. I'm really disappointed with Dante's rules for the 10th edition. I've been disappointed with Dante for a while, but maybe I just have too high expectations for what I think he should be able to do. I mean, a few people have said to me that they've enjoyed playing with Dante and they felt like he's done some good work in the battles that they've fought because he has a good number of attacks, which is probably fair, right? Like, he does get a good number of attacks, probably partly put off by the fact that Sanguinary Guard are too expensive, and that kind of, you know, you expect to see Dante with Sanguinary Guard. I mean, people have been running him with Assault Marines, but I guess we're gonna have to see what changes. Like, is he gonna get? Is he gonna be? Because he can only attach to. Can he attach to Vanguard Veterans? I actually don't know. Well, I've never attached Dante to Vanguard Veterans, but maybe you can attach him to them. I'm very guilty of like forgetting things. So like once I tried Dante a couple of times and wasn't too keen on his rules, I never really looked at him again. My current list is performing fine without him, I guess that's the problem. Like if I was looking for something. But yeah, I just don't know if I feel like I need Dante at the moment. If I felt like I needed Dante, I'd probably be prioritizing painting him right now because my Dante is literally only half painted. But I'm enjoying these heavy intercessors. I actually think they're pretty good. So, have I tried Sanguinary Guard after the points drop? I have not, Terrence, but I still think they're too expensive. What are they, like 35 per model now? I still think it's too expensive. I think they need to be 30 per model for me to be interested. Maybe 30. I was gonna say, even at 32, I think they're really expensive. Would you consider the Storm Raven in the Stormlance attachment as -1 damage, lots of DACA, and it can get -1 to hit and -1 to wound from the strat, and you could bring it in reserve or use it as a skimmer? You know, Oh, hold on, I've missed a couple of comments here. Hold on, I've been ranting. Hold on. So, Caroline says the new points for Space Marine Codex has already been revealed by sources associated with GW. Have I checked them? I have not checked them. And generally, it's about 5% points drop. If I can get more units in my list, that will be amazing. I guess as soon as I know the points drop, I'll either do a live stream of it, or at least I'll post the points up on the community tab as soon as I see them and then do a stream about them after. The Ballistus going down 10 more points is also really good. I'm literally, you can see it here, I'm going to be putting some paint on this Ballistus Dreadnought in a minute. I've been running it now. I think I've run it in like 9 games in a row, and I've won 9 games in a row. I've won every single game I've run with the Ballistus Dreadnought. So I'm going to be putting a little bit of paint on it because it's coming into my tournament list for sure. Seraph Song, good evening. How do we feel about the new Space Marine detachments? I haven't seen them all, Seraph Song. I'm going to get the Codex on the same day as all you guys. I was watching the painting phase this week, and he said that you need 30,000 subscribers now for GW to want you to be part of their influencer program, and I'm never going to get there. I'm at 13.3. I only get like 100 subscribers a month now. I guess I got a lot of Blood Angels players, and anyone beyond that doesn't care what I have to say. And hell, some of the Blood Angels players don't care what I have to say as well. So I don't think I'll ever get to 30k, so I'm not going to get books early. I'm not sure how I feel about the Storm Raven because I think it's still expensive and it has no OC, and I think the Land Raider is still better than it, and the Storm Raven has a twin multi-melta, which I don't think is that strong anymore. I'm trying to think what the sponsing guns on the top are. Is it twin plasma, which is probably not that strong either. I don't know if you can put las cannons. I looked at the Storm Raven recently and I wasn't totally sure. Being -1 to hit, -1 damage, and -1 wound, though, when you talk about all three, is pretty nice. I mean, it's hard to say that's not nice. Daniel says it's hard to think that the Lord of Imperial Nihilus isn't able to stand up to all. Yeah, I mean, I'd kind of hoped when they were going to do the Primaris Dante that they would release him as like a sort of Primarch style character, like on par with like Guilliman, and he would be, you know, he would be reborn going through the Rubicon, because we don't really know how Dante went through the Rubicon, right? We got like a 30-second video on Games Workshop, but we never got a book or anything. Like, I thought they would make it a bit more like he's gone through the Rubicon and like he's emerged more powerful because of the, you know, the angel within the warp or something. I don't know. I'm not a lore person per se, but I definitely felt like I was hoping that they would just do more with Dante in terms of like his raw power level, and I don't think we really got it. The games that I've run Dante in 9th edition, or 10th edition rather, 9th and 10th, I guess, I've been kind of underwhelmed. I don't think a Melta pistol with sustained hits D3 is very practical and or useful, because it's like, what you're telling me, like once per game, if I'm lucky, I'll get like one extra shot from a pistol that will probably miss or not wound. So at that point, like, yeah, I mean, I just don't know if it's good. I don't think the drawing a line nonsense last edition was good either. The Sanguiner should become Primarch tier. Give us something Primarch tier, that's for sure. Marius, good evening. How are you? I messaged you on Twitter, Marius. You guessed you didn't see it. It's all good. I'll message you another time. Are you out of your painting slump, Marius? Or is it really a slump, or is it just you've not painted in a while? Daniel says it's a complete and oh no, I already read that. Sorry. Anyone else note that Lionel Johnson's Forest Walk is gone? That new key awesome thing he can do. I haven't seen Lionel Johnson's new data sheet. I was gonna say, have I even looked at his 10th edition data sheet? Yeah, I think he made him. I was gonna say, I don't know. I'm struggling to think if I've looked at his 10th edition data sheet. I'm sure I probably have. Just can't think what he does right now. Yeah, don't drop the models. It's a pity they have a flat number of subscribers required to have new access to new material. It's a bit unfair for non-English speaking communities. Maybe it's different from the non-English speaking. I imagine it would be if it's a country that has less people, but I don't know. Maybe English speaking it's 30,000 now. Hey, I'm not so worried. I mean, it would have been nice to get the books for free, and it would be nice to get them early, to talk about early, but at least this way I can just say whatever the hell I want, and like if I'm upset about something, I can tell people I'm upset about it. I don't need to you know, as much as it sucks to be ignored, at least I'm free to do whatever the hell I want, right? And I will do whatever the hell I want, because that's what's happening. Jonesy, good evening, how are you? Sanguinary Guard are going to be hurt with Oath of Moment. Yeah, they're going to be hurt big time with Oath of Moment. I mean, a lot of Marine stuff that relied on Oath of Moment is going to be hurt. And there's definitely a few. I think the Sons of Sanguinius definitely relied on Oath of Moment for some of their key jump units. So losing those reroll to wounds when you can only wound on 4s likely is going to hurt quite a lot. Because it's not like, people forget that the AP on like Power Fists dropped, right? Because Power Fists used to be -3, but they're only -2 now, and there's a lot of things in the meta that can like ignore 1 AP or reduce AP by 1. When you start doing that, like suddenly AP2 doesn't become all that killy. It becomes kind of very unkilly, if you ask me. John doesn't need early access, he just needs things to not arrive on time. Well, do you know what? As much as I complained about not receiving Dante on time, 2 different people in the community, Smithy and Mike the Great Angel, both sent me a Dante. So now I have 2 of them. I only made one of them. I was considering giving the other one away. I was thinking about doing a charity raffle at some point. I just haven't worked out. Oh, no worries, Marius. I've been live since, like, I don't know, maybe 8:15 or 8:20 or something like that. I do want to do the charity raffle. I don't know what I want to give away in prizes yet. But if I'm going to do the charity raffle, I also don't want to not raise enough money. So I need to make sure the prizes are good. But my problem is the only thing that I've got that I think would make an awesome prize is like... Well, I've got some sort of semi-awesome things that would make a prize. I can't figure it out. Jump Intercessors, they're not going to be the prize because they're bloody expensive and they need to sell the jump pack separately. That's the annoying thing. With everyone going over the top, I love your down to earth feel, says Daniel. Yeah, no worries. I was gonna say, yeah, everybody does go over the top. I would like to go over the top more probably, but yeah, I just tell it like it is, man. I appreciate that though, Daniel. Thanks for the comment. I really want to... The one thing that I'd really like to do this edition is to win a GT. Like, I don't care what army... Well, I mean, I want to win it with Blood Angels for sure, but I mean, I don't care what list I win it with. Like, if it's a list that has to use the aggressor spam with Bolt or Discipline, I don't care about that. I just really want to win a GT this edition. Or, do you know what? Second might be okay. Because, you know how they changed the point scoring in the tournament pack this edition? Like, the GT that I should have come second in last year, or last edition, I didn't come second because of the way that the points work. Where, like, people could get easier games and get more points. So, there was only 2 people that went 4-0 and I was one of them. So I was basically playing on the top table, and I lost on the top table, and I lost badly because I'd never played Grey Knights. Ever. Since I came back to the hobby like 4 or 5 years ago. So I played Grey Knights for the first time ever at the top table of the tournament and got spanked because I didn't really know what to expect. And because I got spanked so badly, I didn't finish second. I finished like 5th, and it was really anticlimactical. Whereas in the new point scoring, because I was one of the only 2 people to go 4-0, I would have finished second. So maybe finishing second at a GT this edition would be okay. Maybe second's more realistic, because the thing is, when I try and win, I've got a lot of pressure to win. Then I end up playing crap because I'm trying to put too much pressure on myself to win. We need more Raldoron giveaways. We did do a couple of Raldoron giveaways. I actually dislike YouTube channels with high production value, like Play on Tabletop or something. I love Play on Tabletop, Rezio. I wish I had the time to do production value as good as those guys, honestly. Play on Tabletop, and I was going to say there's like 3, isn't there? There's like Tabletop Titans, Play on Tabletop, and Tabletop Tactics. Those guys rock. Honestly, if you don't watch those guys, you should watch them. If they ever reach out to me and are like, John, we want you on the channel for a game, I'm effing there quicker than you can say the F word. I'm so there. Those guys honestly rock. I would watch all their content if I didn't have the 2 kids and had more free time. So yeah, I like that you guys like my production value. Don't get me wrong. Thank you for that. I'm very appreciative of you guys saying your nice comments. But high production value is not a bad thing. I think it's awesome. Those guys rock. All 3 of those channels rock. Evening, Mike. How are you? Mike's in chat. He's a superstar, Blood Angels painting guru. He gave Nids a spanking tonight. How do you find fighting Nids? I only played them once and didn't think they were very good. James says, community member Sinfee sculpted a Primaris jump pack. It's free on his Cult's 3D page. I'm going to use it with some regular Assault Intercessors. Well, if he's done a free sculpt, I guess you could link it in the Discord, right? Have you done that already? I think that would be okay if it's a free sculpt that one of our community members make. That's what I was saying. If Games Workshop don't sell those jump packs individually, then people will find ways to 3D print them. Now, it sounds like one of the community guys has already made a 3D printable jump pack. Well, that's great, because I mean, I for one don't want to spend $50 on jump packs. It's kind of insane. It's kind of insane, especially after losing so many models to Legends just a few weeks ago. Or yeah, it was just a few weeks ago we lost all that stuff to Legends, wasn't it? So we're very lucky. Our community members here are awesome, apparently. Mario says Play On are fantastic. Yeah, I think I don't know the guy. Like, I've watched a bunch of Play On Tabletop, but I don't really know the names of the guys and know the channel all that well. I guess because that's the newer of the 3 channels. The channels that I know well are Tabletop Tactics and Tabletop Titans. And Titans are the guys out of, I think, they're either out of like Las Vegas. I think they're out of Las Vegas. Maybe it's, pretty sure it's Las Vegas. Those guys are awesome. Those guys were talking about me in Ball Predators at one point. And they were really, really nice about me as well, which was nice, because I didn't even know that they knew who the hell I was. But someone asked a question about Ball Predators in one of their Blood Angels battle reports, and they're like, oh yeah, that Blood Angels guy, he's doing Ball Predators. Everybody else thinks they're rubbish, but he's been doing them. And that's the same with the Ballistus Dread. Like, I think a lot of people had, like, I was using the Ballistus Dread at 170 points, and I was like, this Dread's okay, but no one's running it. I wasn't seeing like anyone using Ballistus Dreads, but I was running it at 170 points, and apparently it's going down to 140 points now. I'm chuffed. I'll definitely be, I mean, I got a second one, maybe, don't know if I'm going to do 2, but yeah. Well, thank you for the kind words about the quality stream. Macidius, is that how you say it? Macidius had an idea for the Sons of Sanguinius detachment. 10 jump intercessors with a captain of Sang Priests on the charge. It's 50 attack, strength 6, -2/1 damage with free red rampage. That's kind of a solid battle line. You know, I'm actually, it's not so bad. It's quite an expensive unit, I suppose. Strength 6 minus, what did you say, -1, -2? -2? Oh, because the Sanguinary Priest gives you an extra -1. The Sanguinary Priest, I don't know if they've said if he can attach to jump intercessors yet, can he? He would need like an FAQ to be allowed to attach. I know he could attach to Salt Marines before, but I don't know if he can attach to those yet. I don't know if they've specifically released that anywhere yet. Oh, Winters is brilliant. Do you know what? I've watched a bunch of Winters. He's more narrative though. I think I'm more competitive. I don't dislike Winters. I've watched a bunch of his content. Yeah, he's. I also like Liam Dempsey, who was part of Winters, but now he's doing his own channel. So Liam. I mean, a who's who of Warhammer 40k streamers tonight, apparently. There's probably more that I don't even know about as well, to be honest. Because you guys always know about more streams than I do. It takes a lot of time for me to make those tactics videos with the maths on them. Honestly, probably spend like 6 to 8 hours on those videos, and like if we break it down to how much I earn from those videos, it's probably like equivalent or less than minimum wage. Because those videos are like, yeah, they're like 6 to 8 hours for the tactics videos, but they're worth doing, I think, because people learn a lot from them, and I also learn a lot from them as well. I was kind of blown away with how much damage the aggressors can do. Sorry, yeah, the aggressors. I'm painting heavy intercessors, but I'm thinking about aggressors. And I'm also blown away by like how bad Sanguinary Guard were when we compared them to like Death Company. Like, they were horrifically bad. Like, there was almost no reason to ever take Sanguinary Guard at the moment. Like, I can't. I wish it was easy for me to show you guys the drawer over there. Do you know what? It might be easy actually, because I can just pull the whole fucking drawer out. Look, there you go. There's some Sanguinary Guard in a drawer. That's where they've been living for the last 6 months. That's where they're gonna live for another 6 months. Probably longer. It's like a drawer full of Sanguinary Guard that have literally no purpose at the moment. So it's like I lost so many models to Legends, and then the ones that I didn't lose, they just live in a drawer now. There's no reason to take them out. Rosa's written the Sanguinary Priest can't join the Jump Pack Intercessors yet, says Mike. Yeah, that's a good point. Tabletop Tactics and Titans are doing a better job because their cameras and audio are nice, and their shows are still more like friends in a garage. Yeah, I'm not going to slag any of those other channels, Rez, because I think they're doing amazing, and their production value makes me jealous. Let's just leave it at that. Hey, but we have a lot of fun on our streams, though, don't we? 6 Flamestorms with a Captain. The Flamestorm do 25 wounds to... But surely the Flamestorms are not as good as the Bolter Discipline. Or I think it's going to be called Fire Discipline, right? Because, like, Fire Discipline is just a horrific amount of damage on 6 aggressors with the Captain and Devastator Doctrine. Like, I did a video on it last week, like, surely the Flamestorms cannot be as good as the Bolters. Did I try your link that you sent across about maths? I think there was a website about the maths, wasn't it? Do you know what? I completely forgot. Jones, I'll check it. I'll make sure I check it. I have a memory like a sieve, apparently. I'm always putting reminders on my phone, and if I forget to put a reminder, then I forget to do the thing. So, I'll put a reminder on my phone after this. But I have updated my like how I do a lot of the maths that you guys see on the weekly videos. Is like I have this spreadsheet that I was working on, and I was paying someone to help me with it because the spreadsheet got insanely complicated. But I've got like an insanely complicated spreadsheet where I can add just about any unit against just about any unit and get the numbers to be spat out to me. So it's a very, very powerful spreadsheet, but it has been insanely complicated. So now that I've got it in a good spot, like I've even got it where I can like change the critical hit numbers and the sustained fire numbers and everything now. But it's taken me a long time to get to there. But it means like going forward, I can do maths and we can work out basically any unit and any combination and compare them, which is very useful. And obviously those sort of videos help me a lot with it's funny that, you know, that I was going to a tournament at one point last season or last edition, like in 9th edition. I ended up watching my own video on YouTube. So it's a video that I made and filmed and did all the slides for. I'm watching my own video to work out which unit to take in my army. I thought it was kind of funny. You know, like normally you would search other YouTubers. No, I'm literally watching myself because I can't remember what I said. You should take a read of the Imperial Henchmen special abilities. They are a mean little bunch. The Imperial Henchmen are amazing. I played against them a few weeks back. If you attach Inquisitor, they can do lots of things like the Deep Strike Denial and all that sort of nonsense. They're 2 wounds a model as well, which is very good for the points cost. I like the Inquisitor Henchmen a lot. I do. Write me back when you have time to check the link out. I will. I promise I will. If you don't hear from me in a few days, just bug me on Discord, because honestly, sometimes when I forget things, man. Whew. I was going to say, how, I have no idea how long I've been painting for at this point. What's the time? 1 hour, 24 minutes. Okay. It's probably less than I thought, maybe? I don't know. I got loads to do on these guys. This is why I was going to paint tonight. I feel like I'm maybe going to paint on Saturday. We'll have to see. I've got a birthday party on Saturday, so it's been a busy couple of weeks actually. I thought all my busy stuff with the summer is over, but apparently it never ends. But yeah, hopefully we can get a couple of games using the new detachments. I am keen to try the new detachments. But I do have that tournament on the 18th of November, so I might stick with what I know, which is Gladius. To take my list to the tournament on the 18th of November, and then start thinking about changing detachments post 18th of November. That might be what I end up doing. I think I shot the Imperial Henchman like 4 times in one turn with the double heavy flamer of the Death Company Dreadnought. And I think I only killed like 3 or 4 henchmen. It was kind of ridiculous how tanky they were, considering they were getting hit with like double heavy flamer multiple times. Because it was like the 3rd time Andrew shot the Death Company Dreadnought, and he was like, "You can shoot that every single time I shoot you?" I was like, "Yeah, please keep shooting them. Especially when you're shooting them with like bolt pistols and stuff, Andrew. Shoot them with all your different small little sisters units that have bolt pistols. That's perfect. I will very much enjoy shooting this double heavy flamer at you every single time you shoot me." I suppose that's the thing about not knowing your opponent's rules very well, right? Like, that's why they always say in Warhammer, to be the best you can be at Warhammer, you need to know your own army, but then you need to know all the other armies. I'm very guilty of not knowing all the other armies and trying to learn them when you go against them in tournaments sometimes. I mean, you can watch videos, like I've watched videos from like Auspex Tactics and stuff. Like, if you know these armies are going to be at the tournaments that you're going to, you can look them up and you can watch the videos on them, but there's definitely, I suppose it's a bit like football, right? Like, if you're playing up against Lionel Messi, you can watch all the videos that you want about Lionel Messi, but if you actually play against him for the first time, he's probably going to kick your ass, right? So I think 40k is a bit like that as well. Like, you can watch a bunch of videos on like what to expect when you're going to fight against like Necrons or Catans or whatever it is you're going to fight against. But then once the first time you fight against them, you're like, oh crap, now I see why that's strong. I know nothing. There's no planet where I'm learning all the other armies. Yeah, me too, Kevin. Me too. Like, I barely even keep up with my own army, and apparently I can't even remember all the Space Marine characters because people are saying like, such and such can do this. I'm like, they can? So I guess if you can't learn all of the other armies, then what you have to do is learn your own one as best as you can. And that's why I always recommend like play the same list multiple times before an event, and keep playing that same list even if you think it's not the strongest list. Like, I would rather play the same list like 15 times than try and like pick a meta list off the internet, or like, what do they call it? Oh, there's a phrase they use when they do net listing. Net listing is just when you see a strong list on like Goonhammer or something, you just copy it. It's called net listing. So I'd rather like play my own list and learn it and learn everything about it and play it multiple times and be characters and models that I know, even if they're not the strongest, than just like essentially just net listing, just picking a list that I've seen do well online and copying it, right? Like, I think learning your own one is the better idea. And that's kind of what I subscribe to. Like, if I eventually win like a GT and get to make that video about like, hey, I won a GT as Blood Angels, it'll probably be a list that like no one else is playing, because it'll be a list that I came up with that I wanted to play because I liked some of the synergies, and it might not have the most competitive units in it. For example, at the moment I've been using this Ballista Dread for a while, and I feel like nobody else is using them. I'm not running any Gladiator Lancers. I feel like lots of people are still running Lancers. I mean, maybe Lancers will be better now that the Oath of Moment change is kind of forcing you to pick something like a Lancer, maybe. I mean, there's definitely an argument for that. But, yeah, it is what it is. In Scotland, they call net listing Andrew. Yeah, Andrew loves net listing, though, DTM. It's like his favourite thing in the entire world. He did the best he's ever done at a tournament where he did like some crazy Iron Hands net list. It was like 8th edition, and Iron Hands were like... Well, they were all manner of broken in 8th edition, I guess. I mean, it feels like every edition the Iron Hands end up with a period of time where they're just stupidly broken. And Andrew did the best he ever did with like some mad net list. I honestly think the net list was like... Do you remember when Intercessors had different types of guns? It was like that you wanted Intercessors with like the heavy gun. I can't remember why. But like you honestly had like 60 Intercessors in the list. So it was like an Astraeus... Yeah, like an Astraeus tank, 60 heavy Intercessors. No, not heavy Intercessors, like regular Intercessors, but with a heavy version of the gun. And then like that Dreadnought that was a character, the Chaplain Dreadnought or something, like it was a complete mad list. Mike Grant, a solo Gravis captain with Artificer armor tonight. He tanked a Hive Tyrant and killed it in return. He's really got enough damage with just that Strength 8 Power Fist to kill a Hive Tyrant. Oh, I know you're not comparing me to those big channels, Rezzy. I'm not even in the same league as those big channels. That's what I said. Like, if I know those big channels occasionally invite people on to play. If they invite me ever, I'm going. I just tell my wife, like, wife, I'm going to Las Vegas. She'll be like, why? And I was like, for a game of Warhammer. I mean, she'll probably laugh at me for a minute, but then hopefully she'll agree to it. A great time to learn everything is if you grab their Codex as they come out. Yeah, I mean, it is a great time to learn everything. I just don't know if I have time to read all the other codexes, and even then, I feel like I'm not going to retain that. I get too much other stuff in my head, so I'll probably forget. So I feel like you don't make the same mistake in the games more than once, typically. Like, you know, if an enemy deep strikes in on you with like a unit that, let's say, can ignore... Like, I played against Colin when he ran Be'lakor, where you can do like a 6-inch deep strike anywhere on the map with Be'lakor because he creates that bubble of Shadow of the Warp. Well, like, once that happens to you one time and Be'lakor drops down in Shadow of the Warp, a great unclean one in 6 inches away in turn 2 or something, you're like, oh shit. So you're not going to get surprised by that again, right? But reading it in the book is, I feel like, is a harder thing to be aware of, that those rule interactions could happen. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. The Ballistus is great. Loads of people are getting on board with the Ballistus. Yes. I'm gonna try. I've got a second Ballistus that I just didn't spray because I wasn't sure I needed 2 of them, but what's funny is that I've got the one Ballistus sprayed and built, and a bit of paint on it, and the other Ballistus is painted a bit, has built. But I've had my Brutalis Dreadnought longer, and the Brutalis Dreadnought is still on its sprue. That kind of tells you everything you need to know about Melee this edition. It's like, Melee this edition just is one step weaker than it should be, in my opinion, probably. I was going to say, the age of the Power Fist is over. That's what they said in Lord of the Rings, wasn't it? The age of man is over. To be fair, I got the Knights Codex and still haven't read it, other than the Combat Patrol rules. Yeah, I get you. I used to buy all the codexes. I mean, if we go back to last edition, I have a bunch of codexes. I was actually thinking about this the other day. Like, I used to like to hold on to like last edition's codexes, but like I get too much stuff now. Like this one room that I do my hobby out of is absolutely full. Like, it's just full of crap. Like, I don't know if I need to hold... Like, I was trying to put a book into my bookshelf and there was no room, and then I saw that I had like the 9th edition hardback rule set. I was like, am I ever going to play 9th edition again? Do I need the giant hardback rule book? And if not, then how are we recycling these big giant tomes of books? Because I don't know if they're necessarily being recycled very efficiently at the moment, I guess. We've got a load of chapter approved books as well from last edition that I was like, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of wanted to make a video on recycling of the old books. I think Games Workshop had started doing recycling in some of their stores. I think that was a thing that they talked about last year. But I don't know whatever happened for it. Honestly, because I don't live near a Games Workshop store, that just makes it kind of awkward for me. The nearest Games Workshop store is like an 80 or 90 minute drive. Maybe it's a little bit quicker now that there's a bypass, but it's still not really feasible for me to just nip into the store and be like, hey, here's an old chapter approved book, just recycle it for me, please. Kevin says, I don't think I could netlist. There are some units that I just don't like playing too much and put my own spin on things. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you 100%, Kevin. I like to put my own spin on things, and I never really run totally meta things. I've got that sort of meta one unit of aggressors in the list at the moment. But the other things that I'm running are, every week Rezio tells me that I'm an idiot for running the repulsor. He really doesn't like the repulsor and he says it's not competitive, but I'm running it every week. And I'm going to run it to GT. And in the ideal world, I'll win the GT, and then I'll come back on here and say, Rezio, what on earth have you been smoking? That repulsor is the best thing since sliced bread. And you told me that it was a bad unit, etc, etc, etc. And then I'll do the thing from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So if you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, when Captain Holt's like, Vindication! Yeah, you said it because I own Land Raiders. I know I own Land Raiders, but my list... Do you know what? If Space Marines all drop 5% points, like... I forget who came into the chat and said that Space Marines are going to get a 5% point drop because of the change to Oath of the Moment. If we get a 5% point drop because of the change to Oath of the Moment, then maybe that 5% point drop will let me drop the Repulsor and put in a Land Raider. I mean, that would make it better for my Assault Centurions to charge out of. 100% that would make it better. So we'll see. I mean, the list works at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could prefer a Land Raider. You're right. I had the Brutalis go up against a Warhound Titan last Saturday. It was pretty cool. How much damage did it do? Because I know, like, I assume most of the time when you charge with the Brutalis Dreadnought, you use Tank Shock, right? So you end up doing, because he's got like a Strength 12 fist, most of the time you're averaging like 6 to 10 mortal wounds or something. Connor found a 9th edition core book for £5, so me and a buddy decided to play 9th edition last week. Well, yeah, I mean, that's cool. No, I get that, and I get the idea of holding on to the old books for prosperity. Like I said, I'm 40 years old now, so I've been collecting Warhammer and board games and shit for 40 years. Look at these shelves behind me. They go all the way to the fucking roof. I've got too much stuff. I don't want to get rid of any of it. So like, the only thing I feel like I could get rid of is like old books that maybe don't have... Land Raiders need more shots. Well, I mean, Land Raiders get more shots than the Repulsor. I like the Repulsor's defensive array though. Like, it was surprisingly handy. It's just like 18 strength 4 shots with no AP. But there's a lot of armies that just have like something annoying, like Nurglings or Battle Sisters, or I'm trying to think what else I killed, like Votans. 18 strength 4 shots is just surprisingly handy to have. The Tank Shock took, I think, like 6 wounds, and they get some more off in melee, and then a Reaver shot it off the table. Yeah, I mean, I get that the Ballistas certainly can do damage with mortal wounds in melee. It certainly can do that. I'm just a bit apprehensive of like, how do you actually get the Ballistas into melee? Like, it's a big board, and it's a bit of a bullet magnet. No, I feel like at some point I need to make my Ballistas Dreadnought. Last year at Christmas time, I stopped making tactics videos for like the 2 weeks over Christmas, and just did loads more streams where I did some Warhammer 40,000 like video games, like I played some Chaos Gate, I did some more hobby streams where I built some more models that have been kind of overdue to get built all year. So I think probably I'll do that again this year, and maybe that'll be when I'll do my Ballistus Dreadnought. He does seem like he'd be very thematic for Blood Angels, though. It just means for me, I'm like, should I paint the Ballistus Dreadnought black and paint him Death Company? I mean, I think that would look very cool. I did already paint a Redemptor black for the Death Company. And I thought it looked super awesome. It's one of my like favorite Primaris model things, I guess. One of my favorite, probably my favorite Primaris paint job, I guess. It's just a bit sad that I don't play the Redemptors anymore. You've never too much stuff, just never enough storage space. Yeah, well, I mean, that's right, DTM Bind. Like, this is me and my wife's forever home. I'm never moving from this house again. I've spent way too much time and effort on this house. Even though I've only been in this house for like, well, do you know what? It's October, so I've literally been in this house for 2 years now. But I've spent way too much time and effort in the 2 years that I've been in this house. So like, this is it. This is my space. So if my space is filled, then I ain't got any more space. All the Dreadnoughts have some playing various effects. Yeah, I was actually quite liking the Death Company Dreadnought in Strategic Reserve. I was liking that. I just don't know if I felt it was good enough to run to a tournament. I mean, it's the only way Blood Angels can get a 7-inch charge from Deep Strike. Like, literally the only way we can do that now. So if you want a 7-inch charge from Deep Strike, i.e. the most reliable charge you can possibly have, which is an 83% charge roll, by the way, or an 83% chance for the charge, rather, then you want the Death Company Dreadnought. So that's why I think the Death Company Dreadnought for me is better than the Ballistus, and it's purely because, sorry, not the Ballistus, the Brutalis. Because I think if you have a melee Dreadnought, you want to guarantee it's getting into melee, and the best way to do that is to probably reserve it and then charge a monster or vehicle with the Death Company one. But hey, if you can run it across the board, you can try it. I just personally don't know if I like it all that much. Jonesy, thanks so much for hanging out. It's nice to see you. It sounds like you need a man cave. Well, this is the man cave, dude. Or this is the office. It's a 4-bedroom house, and there was one, I don't know what you would call it, like the box room, or like the smallest room, the room that would take like I guess it's the single bedroom, right? Like, because you couldn't really fit a double bed in here. It's just a room that contains a couple of desks and then some shelves. That's all that's in here. I feel like I had a bigger room in my old house, but my old house only had 2 bedrooms upstairs, so it meant that my son and daughter wouldn't both have a bedroom, and we wanted them to both have their own bedroom, I guess, right? So we moved to a house where there's like a bedroom for both kids, but then the study or the office is smaller, right? Reavers can, yeah, but Reavers don't do any damage, man. Reavers are just, ugh. I hate what's happened to Reavers, or what hasn't happened to Reavers. Ever since Reavers were released, they have been terrible. And I don't know why Games Workshop have left them as so terrible this whole time. It's like, Reavers I was super excited. I've said that before. I was super excited when Reavers came out. I painted my Reavers Death Company colours. I thought they're some of the coolest looking Space Marines that we ever had. Like the death masks on the Reavers really fitted like a black Death Company colour scheme. It was so cool. And they've just been like, well, they've got knives with no AP. Like, whoop-de-doo, no AP knives in a meta where everybody's running, like, no AP strength 4 knives when everyone's running crazy tough armor lists with loads of really good saves. Like, it just makes no sense. I just don't know how you feel Grievers. So I painted 5 Reavers and I have 5 that have been sprayed black that are waiting to get finished, and I guess they're waiting to get finished for another 5 years or something. Sometime I swear I'm going to prove the Brutalis swinging from a Stormraven works. You know, it might work in the Stormlance detachment with -1 to hit, -1 to wound, and -1 damage on the Stormraven. We are buying this house, and I got very lucky with the mortgage because I guess when we bought it 2 years ago, mortgage rates in the UK were nice, whereas mortgage rates in the UK now are insanity. So when my mortgage comes up in like 3 years' time, hopefully the rates have gone back down to something normal, because if not, I'm getting screwed, I guess, on the mortgage. But yeah, no, yeah, I mean, we bought our first house as well, but it's a weird thing to say, like, we bought the house. We bought our first house, but we never really owned more than like 20% of the house, right? We had a mortgage for the 80% that we didn't own, right? But yeah, I definitely had a much bigger room in the old house, so I was able to accumulate more crap, which is not necessarily a good thing. So yeah, that's why I'm not sure, like, I don't know if I'm ever playing, this all started from me saying I don't know if I'm ever playing 9th edition again, and I should recycle my old books. I mean, you could probably sell them on eBay, but I mean, you probably don't get that much money for last edition's books. You might get money for like a book that's like 10, 20 years old, but probably not last editions. What's funny, you know, they haven't mentioned chapter approved at all this edition, have they? Like the... Yeah, I'm only just realising now they haven't mentioned chapter approved at all. I think that they need to like overhaul some of the war gear options for not just Reavers though. There's other units in the Codex that I think could be really interesting and useful if they gave them some more war gear options. Like Outriders for me are they're a really great looking unit. Like I love the big bikes. They're really good for move blocking. They look very, very cool. I painted a bunch of my Outriders black for Death Company colours. I think the bikes look amazing in Death Company. But they just have chainswords and bolters. And it's like, when you actually break it down, like a squad of Assault Intercessors has more chainsword attacks and more bolter fire, basically, almost. So it's like, why would I run Outriders and they just have chainswords? It's like, I wish that they would think a bit more about some of those weapon options. Maybe it's something we've got to look forward to in the future for, like, as the Primaris range grows. I hope that we could have some more flexibility on weapon options, but the weapon options for Primaris models are well, Reavers and Outriders are good examples. There's some other examples where it's just like there is no options. You know, like Infiltrators or Incursors, like no options. I guess there's new Sternguards as well. Like no options for what is it? There's new Sternguards. No options for melee weapons and stuff. You know, just a bit disappointing. Wolfden, your mortgage rate changes after you buy it. Here in the UK, you do what they call a fixed or a tracker mortgage. So you can fix the rate for X number of years, or you can track the bank's interest rate. So I fixed my rate for 5 years, Wolfden. So I'll have to check my rate, or have to renegotiate my rate in 2026. They usually give you like 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years if you try and do a fixed rate. And I guess in this case, I'm really lucky that I did a fixed rate because I'm way better off than I would be. Because I guess in America they're fixed for the length of the loan. Well, they're not here. They fix them for X amount of years, and then you have to renegotiate. 10's typically the most you can fix it for in the UK. I guess just must be a difference between UK and America. What did James give? Not here? $15 or $30 years fixed. Well, I mean, if they're willing to fix it for 30 years, I wish I'd been able to fix mine. And when I got mine at 30 years, I would have saved me a ton of money. But yeah, no, here in the UK, it's usually 2, 5, or 10 for fixed. But like people right now were having to get mortgages at like 7%, whereas like when I got mine it was like 1 and change or something. So I think COVID really don't know what it was like in America, but COVID screwed up a lot of prices here in the UK for things. Like prices on certain things like doubled almost overnight because of COVID, and like the prices haven't gone back to where they were, they've just stayed up. I was buying some moisturizer the other day. I hadn't bought moisturizer in ages because like I would buy, let's say, like 500 mils, and I have like eczema, so it doesn't flare up all that often, right? Like maybe it flares up like once a month or less. So like I was buying some moisturizer that I honestly hadn't bought since before COVID, and it used to be like maybe £8 for the bottle, which I guess is like $10 US. Well, it's honestly $14.99 now. So I said to my wife, I was like, wow, I haven't bought that moisturizer since before COVID, and the price is like literally double. She's like, oh yeah, some of the stuff, some of the rarer stuff, you know, like speciality products, like it's coconut moisturizer or something mad. I was like, what? It's doubled in price? Like, okay. But like it's doubled in price in like 3 years, right? Like in no time whatsoever. Like I get inflation doubles prices like historically in like 10 years or something, but 3 years? Is this a mortgage stream? I guess. We'll talk about whatever you want, Modem. What do you want to talk about? Finance Hammer. Good evening, Highland Phoenix. How are you? I'm having to paint heavy intercessors because I think they're really good now. I played against Andrew's. Was it Andrew's Sisters Battle, or was it? I think it was Colin's Chaos Demon. No, it was Death Guard actually. And he spent like 2 or 3 turns shooting at the heavy intercessors, trying to kill them. They were in cover, so they get +1 to their AP. They were on an objective, so they get +1 to their save. And then I think I may have armor contempted them as well, so I was basically able to ignore 3 AP with the heavy intercessors. And they are toughness 6, and they are 3 wounds a model on a 3-up save, potentially ignoring 3 AP. And I was like, wow, these guys just are very, very useful. Plus they're OC2 as well. So even when he finally gets on the objective, like he has to have a bunch of guys to out-OC them. And the cool thing about Blood Angels is you can just pay to teleport the heavy intercessors around with Librarian Dreadnought. Well, you don't even pay anything, do you? Just roll a 2-up. Librarian Dreadnought will teleport them around. I love the Librarian Dreadnought. I honestly think it might be my favourite Blood Angels unit right now. I just think it's so darn useful, right? And I think it gets more useful the longer the game goes, right? Because like at the end of the game, if you think about your games of 40k when you're in like turn 4 and 5, and there's not many models left on the board, that's when the Librarian Dreadnought's like, ooh, I'll just teleport this guy wherever the hell I need him to score secondaries. And I think that's super strong as well, especially if you combine it with like a squad of Intercessors where you can just about sticky any objective that you want as well. So at some point you sticky an objective or two with your regular Intercessors, and then you just have your Librarian Dreadnought like teleport some shit around. I was like, it feels to me like the Librarian Dreadnought is possibly our best unit in 10th edition. You just have to make sure that you have enough infantry in your list to make him viable. But I think most people do have enough infantry in their list, right? Even me, who has been known as running the parking garage list for a few weeks, does now have enough infantry to make a Librarian Dreadnought viable. I think my current list has like 1100 points of infantry and it's like 895 points of armor. Which is still quite a lot of armor. But I guess if point differences are changing very soon, then new scout squads, yeah, 55 point scout squads might be interesting. Are scouts? I assume scouts are OC1 then, right? We haven't seen any profiles for the new scouts, but I'm assuming they're OC1. I can't see any reason they would be better OC than that. But they could definitely be possibly really good action monkeys, right? Last game I played against Imperial Guard, he killed 4 heavy Intercessors with the Lehman Russ Executioner. They are a ideal target for super plasma weaponry. Yeah, I mean, I guess, what's the AP on the Lehman Russ plasma? Is it -3 or -4? And I guess they're 3 damage. Yeah, I mean, I guess heavy Intercessors are probably a bit weak into plasma fire. Do you know what? I haven't come up against too many people playing with plasmas though. But yeah. I've been avoiding plasma a lot myself just because it's very good at killing elite infantry, which I guess heavy Intercessors are, but it does nothing against vehicles. And like, I guess enough people in my meta were running vehicles where I felt like plasma wasn't really my top priority. But I can understand that. Yeah, that would make sense. Scouts are OC1, yeah. Librarian Dread is a full group of Sternguard. I use the Librarian Dreadnought to put a full group of Sternguard into my buddy's battlefield. To kill, then be killed is great. Yeah, I mean, I guess the cool thing about the Sternguard is if they do kill something, they get to shoot again, right? How often does that come up, though? Like, if you... I haven't played enough Sternguard to really... Well, I haven't played any Sternguard, let's be honest. I looked at their data sheet and thought they looked reasonably interesting, I guess. But yeah, I haven't run Sternguard this edition yet. I feel like I could, right? Like I could just run them with all bolters and like proxy and intercessors pretty quickly. So maybe I could try 10 Sternguard. Mephiston can attach to the Sternguard, right? In the new book, Sternguard lose double shot and get reroll 1s to wound. Oh, interesting. They still got dev wounds on their guns. Rerolls 1 to wound if you've got dev wounds is probably... Yeah, I can't imagine how often that double shot comes up though, because like you have to kill the unit with the Sternguard. So like in the situation where you leave like one guy alive with 1 wound, you don't get your double shot. You don't get your double shot because of that, I guess. Yeah, I just don't know if I want to go mortal wound fishing. I feel like the fishing that I'm doing for the for the aggressors is good enough, right? Like the aggressors fishing is pretty strong. And it seems really reliable, and I feel like the aggressors fishing doesn't really get nerfed by the Oath of Moment change. Because the aggressor fishing works because you're fishing for hit rolls rather than wound rolls, right? So Oath of Moment change does literally very, very little to negatively impact the aggressor fishing. I'm going to that GT on the 18th next month, and if I can, I 100% want to run the aggressors with a Firestorm Bolter discipline. I don't think many people have an answer for that. I just think it's very good at, even with not having the full AP2, right? Like, even if you can't make the enemy your closest target, you can still do an awful lot of damage. And you can do a lot of damage even without using Oath of Moment on that unit as well. Just because the number of attacks you get, like you get 18 bolter shots, and you get like 21 grenade shots. Every 5 or 6 is an auto wound and a burst. Like, it almost feels like you don't even need like you do get a significant damage buff from using Oath of Moment on them, but like if you're just, let's say you were just shooting like a squad of Plague Marines or something, because I think I did use it on a squad of Plague Marines, like 7 Plague Marines in a character, and I didn't use Oath of Moment, and I think they killed all 7 Plague Marines and like took 2 wounds off the character. So like he lost the whole squad of guys, and he had like a character with like a wound or something left. And that was obviously without Oath of Moment, because I think at that point in that game I was using Oath of Moment to kill like I think I was using it to kill tanks or something at that point. What are some good hard hitting units for Blood Angels at 1,000 points? I like 5 Death Company with a Chaplain, because a Chaplain gives you built-in +1 to wound. I like to give the 5 Death Company all Infernal Pistols and Power Fists. You could do all Plasma Pistols and Power Fists as well. I think would probably be pretty decent. But that, like the I was going to say 5 Death Company with all Power Fists, with a Chaplain, all with jump packs. It's like 200 points, and I think it's pretty decent. Maybe like I think it's maybe like 215 or something. It's probably one of the hardest hitting units we can get in terms of like if you want a fast moving melee unit that hits hard. It's probably also one of the most cost effective units we have, and it's got the built-in +1 to wounds, so you don't need to spend CP on strats. I actually liked the list that we looked at the other night, the Ultramarines list. We also ran the aggressors, like 6 aggressors with bolters is also really, really strong. I was going to say, I really like Vindicator tanks. I was going to call them Vindicator. Vindicator tanks at the moment, I think they're really strong as well. Really hard hitting. What other units are good for 1,000 points, guys? Help, was it Tom? Help Tom out. What unit? I don't run 1,000 point games. Anyone that runs 1,000 point games, what units? What are your MVPs from your 1,000 point games? What do you really love? Someone sell me on the 5 minimum Death Company with the character. The reason I like the 5 minimum res is because rapid ingress usually means you can come down somewhere out of line of sight with 5. If you have 10, it's much harder to come down out of line of sight, right? Just because sheer number of bodies. So you bring the 5 down with rapid ingress, probably out of line of sight easily, and then that kind of sets you up for a guaranteed charge if you need it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do as much damage, right, because there's only 5 guys. But it's also easier to sneak 5 guys into a space. Like, it's easier to fit in 5 guys if the opponent screened their backfield or something like that. Tom's thinking about a Redemptor Dreadnought. Yeah, I think a Redemptor Dreadnought's probably quite okay in 1,000 points, actually. It's not very good at anti-armor, but as long as you remember that and just don't go after armor targets, then it's probably fine. Redemptor Dreadnoughts are arguably pretty tanky. I think a Land Raider or a Pulsar would also be good in 1,000 points, just because some armies just flat out probably can't deal with those in 1,000 points. So if you have them, they'll just be like terrorizing the board and the opponent can't deal with them. But yeah, no, the 215 points for the 5 Death Company with the jump packs, thanks for the clarification, Servsong. Yeah, I think it's decent. I like it. Quite often as well, I find myself just doing actions with that Death Company. Like, sometimes, like, I'm far enough ahead in the game where I don't need to kill stuff anymore. So if you want to just do an action, you don't really want to be doing actions with a 10-man Death Company in character. It's probably okay to do actions with 5 though, right? So I guess you gotta... Yeah, 5 don't have the same killing power, but 5 have more utility or more flexibility, I would argue. Hey, Riz, I'm 9 wins in a row on the channel now, and yes, I haven't played all the armies, and there's probably still some real boogeymen out there that I need to play. But I've played, apart from playing Sisters of Battle twice, I've played 8 different armies, and I've beat them all. And my list in all those games did include 5 Death Company with a Chaplain. So it can't be terrible, because, like, I was trying to think, like, Andrew, Colin, Miles, Brett. I mean, these guys aren't maybe like the top tier tournament players, but usually when we go to tournaments, like, Miles actually does win tournaments. Miles won a couple of tournaments last year, I think. Andrew usually does okay, top 10-ish. Brett usually does okay, top 10-ish. I have been to a tournament before where Andrew finished 3rd or 4th or something. So, like, these guys aren't bad players. They can do reasonably well at tournaments, and you know, I basically didn't change my list for a bunch of games. So Colin even said he was tailoring his Demons list to try and beat my list, which I actually like people to do, right? Like, if people can tailor a list to beat mine, then it helps me realize if there's a weakness in my list, because they're like, they've spotted what they think I'm inherently weak against, and they're building to try and exploit it. So, like, on the run up to tournament, if someone's willing to try and tailor to beat me, I'm happy for them to do it, because I'm like, yeah, shit, yeah, tell me what I'm weak against, I want to know, right? So yeah, these are, I think they're all reasonably decent players, all 3 of them. I want to say, probably big-headedly, that I think I am a slightly better player than all of them, but you know, sometimes in 10th edition, you could win or lose games on card draws and stuff as well, right? So I think if I've beaten 8 different armies and I've run the 5 Death Company with the Chaplain in every single list, then I think it's viable, right? I certainly don't think it's bad. But yeah, different. It's more scary if it's a 10-man for sure. It's got more killing power if it's a 10-man for sure. I guess it's just a different way of thinking about what Death Company can achieve. And yeah, in one of the games, I think it was the game against Colin's Demons, I ended up having the Death Company Dreadnought and the Death Company in his deployment zone, just doing actions for like 2 or 3 turns, and we won the game. But like, there's nothing to say Death Company, little small squad of 200 points, can't do some actions to win you points. You know, points. Ultimately, the name of the game is scoring points, right? Like, it doesn't matter how killy you are. If you don't score points, you still lose. I get much more excited when I get 2 in a row with Blood Angels, let alone 9. Well, I mean, all my 9 are all with the Gladius detachment. I deemed very early on that I didn't like the Sons of Sanguinius detachment. I didn't think +1 strength felt like it was impactful enough in the meta that I was playing in. And I was playing in a meta where everybody's taking a shitload of armor vehicles. So if you're taking a shitload of armor vehicles and you're only hitting them on like strength 6 or 7, it just doesn't feel good enough. So all 9 of those wins are indeed with the with a Gladius detachment. I still haven't won a game with the Sons of Sanguinius detachment. I mean, I gave up on it like basically 2 or 3 weeks in, but yeah, I haven't won a game with it. For me, it's not even a choice. You know, when I go to start making a new list, it's not even on my radar. I do like the +1 attack on the charge. I just don't think the +1 strength is impactful enough to make up for. I also think it's kind of madness that the Blood Angels, the big bad melee chapter that we're supposed to be, don't have a single stratagem that improves AP. Like, what's that about? Like, why don't we have any stratagem in our detachment that improves AP? Because a lot of things in this edition have the ways to negate AP. I think World Eaters have one to add AP, and I want to say I played against someone else that had one that could add AP to the melee. I can't remember what it was now, but Blood Angels need a way to add 1 AP to melee for sure. Points mean prizes, yeah, it's very true. Jack from Art of War felt the same. I think he ran the Primaris Chaplain in a squad of Blade Guard. Yeah, I think I did see that he ran the Primaris Chaplain in a squad of Blade Guard. I think that's okay. Like, I think that's a decent option. The Primaris Chaplain, like, I like the Primaris Chaplain, I do. Right, I'm not gonna get to, I was gonna say, I'm gonna put texture paint on these guys, I think. Because I'm gonna run out of time. It's already 10:30 here. So I maybe have like a little bit more than half an hour more to stream. It's a bit of a longer stream today, but I am trying to get some stuff finished for tournament play and stuff like that. Can Mephisto join Blade Guard now? Not yet. We'll need an FAQ for that to happen. Or we'll need, yeah, probably an FAQ. I don't know what else we would get. The only reason I really embed the Chaplain with the 5 Death Company is so that I don't have to spend the 1 CP on the Red Rampage. That's literally the only reason I don't do it. So I guess you could decide if you have plenty CP, and if you've got plenty CP Reziel, then you probably don't need to worry about that. If you're struggling on CP, then you might need to worry about it, and I guess that's why I do it. I have the Chaplain with my Blade Guard. Do you know what? It's probably a really good idea, James, to have the Chaplain with the Blade Guard, because I've been playing the Blade Guard now for a bunch of games, and I really do like their +1 to... Their +1 to... Sorry, not the +1. Their rerolls to hit from... What's the ability called? The Sword of the Imperium? I genuinely really like that ability, the Sword of Imperium, giving the +1 to... Or sorry, the rerolls 1 to hit. But like, Blade Guard, for me, this edition, without like a captain attached, I guess, like just Blade Guard, I guess naked or whatever you would... Blade Guard with nobody attached. Their damage output, even with the rerolls to 1, has been so underwhelming when I've been using it. Like, it's just every game, it's like the Blade Guard go in, they do no damage. And I guess that's probably why one of the reasons why I'm so scared to play Sanguinary Guard, because I'm thinking Blade Guard basically have the same weapons. And yeah, I suppose with the Sanguinary Guard you could attach the captain and get the +1 to strength from the captain, and you could have Blood Angels, so you would get to strength 7 on the charge on the Sanguinary Guard, which I guess sounds like a lot better than strength 5, but the second you know, if you're fighting something above toughness 7, then you got huge problems. And I found a lot of times, like a lot of games, Blade Guard do not do any damage for me anymore. The way I've been looking at my Blade Guard is I've been looking at them as like a small 3-man unit that can do potentially actions and stuff and hold points and be a bit durable with the Shield of the Imperium. But like they really have lost a ton of killing power, it feels like. Like I don't rate the Blade Guard's killing power in this edition at all. Like it just feels really, really poor. Which is a weird one, because like, you know, last edition Blade Guard for Blood Angels felt great. Like they've just felt so good. +1 to wound basically all the time. Really were able to put out a punch. I still think they were best run in squads of 3 as last edition. I think they're best run in squads of 3 this edition as well. But I think I felt like they just had. I feel like if I. Do you know what? I did run them a few times last edition in bigger squads. Like I think I think I kept them at 5 because of Blast last edition. So I think I went to a couple of tournaments where I ran Blade Guard in 5s. And I felt that was okay. I think by the end of the edition I'd kind of figured that I felt like 3s were the best, but didn't feel too bad with the 5s. Now I think 5's kind of pointless. So James, who said you'd attach the Chaplain, that's probably the way to use them, right? If you want the Blade Guard to have any sort of killing power, I feel like you're probably right, James. You probably feel like you have to attach the Chaplain, and that gives them some badly needed. Because they get a good number of attacks. Like even in Gladius, they get a good number of attacks. It's 4 attacks per model, re-rolling 1s to hit if you use the ability that they've got. So their hit rolls and their number of attacks is pretty good. It's just their wound rolls really let them down, because most of the time I find that they're wounding on 5s, or maybe even 6s. So yeah, +1 to wound on the Blade Guard, I could get on board with. I think I prefer that over like a Judici R or something. As much as Fight First is good, Fight First if you only wound on 5s, kind of pointless, right? Are we any closer to a decent melee list that's vaguely competitive? It's a tough question, Daryl, because melee innately is a lot less competitive this edition. It's a lot harder to get everybody into combat. It's a lot harder to consolidate out of difficult positions. Like, you know, you kill a unit in the open, you can't consolidate onto the objective because you're 3.1 inches away from it. Melee's just much, much harder to play, I feel like. So are we close to it? I guess the question you're really asking is, will the Space Marine Codex, the new Codex, give us a viable detachment that is all jump units, right? Like, that's what you want to know. I guess the answer's a tough one, eh? The tough questions coming in from Daryl. I don't know, Daryl. I honestly don't know. My current list is 1100 points of infantry, but only 1 squad of jump units. And it's winning a lot of games. It's beating a lot of armies, but it's not what Blood Angels typically have felt like for the last God knows how many years, right? It does. People always used to joke with me and say, like, we don't want to become Red Marines. Well, in a way, we kind of are at the moment. always never know when you're doing the texture paint, like, what it'll end up looking like, so it can be hard to know how much to just flag on here.
I think we'll be closer after the Codex, yeah, because apparently we're going to loot. Here's the thing, though. People are talking about Space Marines getting a 5% point drop.
Is the 5% point drop going to be Blood Angels units, or it's probably just going to be units in the Codex Space Marine, right? It's not going to mention anything about Blood Angels getting a point drop. It'll be interesting to see what happens when win rates get released, though, because I guess the next set of... because win rates... it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago we got the balance pack, right? So I guess we'll have like the NID Codex out, we'll have the Space Marine Codex out for a little while, and then we'll get the win rates. And Space Marines weren't doing okay, but Blood Angels were not doing that well. It'll be interesting to see if there's a detachment. Like, it seems like people like the Flamestorm detachment the most for Blood Angels. Someone gave me an interesting thing last night, that some of us had not picked up on, and let me see what you think about this, right? Your Hellblasters have the assault keyword. So that stratagem in the Stormlands potentially gives all your Hellblasters sustained hits 1. Because there was a stratagem in the Stormlands that was like... what was the strat? It was like you give weapons assault, but if they currently are assault, they instead gain sustained hits 1, right? And I hadn't even picked up on that when I did the video on Stormlands. Someone left me a comment about it, and I was like, "Oh, interesting," because I hadn't thought of that. Is there any nasty combos you can then use? Like put Lieutenant with lethal hits in. Helen Phoenix says my poor firstborn bikes. Yeah, there's a lot of poor firstborn stuff at this point, isn't there? My poor firstborn captain. We came up with a name for him as well tonight, Helen Phoenix, after so many years of being played. He was going to be called Captain Bryco. I'm a little sad to lose my custom captain, that's for sure. I don't think Stormlands is worth it compared to Gladius. Yeah, me too. It seems like Gladius just has so many useful things, you know, like the Stormlands had that nice stratagem where you could do the 6-inch move, but it's like if you're in Tactical Doctrine, the Gladius can let you do that, and if you're not in Tactical Doctrine, you can still do like a D6 move, which I think is not bad. It can sometimes change big swings on points, being able to move when an enemy finishes a move 9 inches away from you. Or less than 9 inches away, rather.
Good evening, Crozier, how are you? Have you heard or seen of the points changes? Loads of people have been telling me about the points changes, but I have not seen them myself. Jimmy, good evening, how are you? I think Vanguard has some play, -1 to be hit is nice. Yeah, I'm gonna do various videos when I have the Codex. Unfortunately, I'm not a GW influencer, so I don't get shit early. So I'll have it the same day as all you guys. I think we're all getting it on the 14th, which is the same day as the big Warhammer reveal stream thingy. So maybe on the 14th I need to do a video where we maybe we go live in the afternoon for the Warhammer reveal, and then we can talk about the Codex as well. I haven't really decided what I'm doing. It will also depend on what the kids are doing and what my wife is doing. Oh, do you know what? The 14th might be a bad day actually, because I think my wife was going to take my daughter to see a movie in the cinema that day, so I'll be stuck with my 1-year-old. Me and my 1-year-old will break down the Warhammer reveals. That could be fun. He's got 3 words. Look at the points. Well, if there's, I'm heading off in 15 minutes. Smithy, I'm going to try and get as much. I'm trying to try and get these guys. I'm trying to get the texture paint done on these guys. That's my plan for the next 15 minutes, or the texture paint on the base, and then I'm going to have to head off. So if there's points cost, you can link me on Discord. I was going to say I'm going live tomorrow night on the Grotz channel to talk about Space Marines, so we can cover some of the points cost tomorrow night then, and yeah, maybe on Saturday when I'm streaming we can cover some points cost then as well on Saturday. But yeah, I want to get the texture paint on these guys done. Because ultimately, for tournament play, everything needs to be based. So these guys do have 3 colors on them. They're not great. I'll continue. I think I'm going to make these my top painting priority though. So even though I'm just getting their bases done now, I think I'm going to still work on these guys to get them kind of finished, I guess. I do enjoy painting Gravis Marines, you know that? I mean, I kind of enjoy painting all Marines, but the sort of chunky, nice size of the Gravis is pretty nice to work with. I suppose it's probably those new Terminators. I haven't made any of the new Terminators yet from the Leviathan box. Just because I've got a lot of current Terminators, it didn't seem like a reason to rush out and build more of what I already have. Aggressors are up to, what were they before? 100. Do you know what, they did this last time though? They put they put the Lancer up, for example. The Lancer went up 15 points, right? But everything around it came down by more than 15 points. So I can't imagine most people are running more than 6 aggressors. Most people are probably going to run the two 3-man squads of aggressors or the 1 6-man squad of aggressors. So it's probably not going to impact your army list in any way, shape or form, aggressors going up 20 points, because like someone already said the Ballistus Dreadnought went down like 10 points. I'm like, okay, so if I've got a Ballistus Dreadnought and a squad of aggressors, now I'm only needing to find 10 more points. Well, something else will have gone down too, surely. So aggressors going up 10 points. If that's the only change on them, you know, if they can still do all the bolter discipline shenanigans, that's probably fine, and it's probably, I was going to say, I don't know if I feel like bolter discipline is balanced, so I'm not going to go as far to say like bolter discipline aggressors are balanced. They're probably not, but if they've only gone up 10 points, I honestly, or 20 points for the big squad, I honestly think that's kind of a win, right? I think if you told me before they were going up 20 points for the 6-man, I would have been like, fine, I can live with that. Is there a new MFM coming out? What the hell is MFM? Aggressors got 3 up weapon skill instead of 4 up? Really? Thank God. I was complaining about that like 2 weeks ago. I think in my aggressor video I was complaining about that, saying it makes no sense. If they've gone up 10 points but they've got their weapon skill fixed, I think I'd probably pay the 10 points for that, because that's a lot of extra damage. That moves statistically from 9 hits to 12 hits with the power fists from the 6-man. So that's 3 extra power fist hits. Remember, those power fists are twin linked. So 3 extra hits with twin linked is not bad, I suppose, right? Hang on, points changed again. Apparently they're changing with the new Marine Codex, Jimmy. Just got a hold of the Heroes Terminator, says Daddy Gamble. The whole set. Well, congrats on getting the whole set, man. I bought a few of those Heroes Terminators and did a couple of conversions on them, and genuinely really liked the Hero Terminators. Do you know what? I think I maybe bought like 4 or 5 of the different ones. I didn't get the ones that were crazy expensive, because some of them were like $100 for a single Terminator. So I didn't get those ones, but I got most of the reasonably priced ones, and those Hero Terminators are pretty nice. What the hell is NFM? You guys use abbreviations I don't know. I'm uneducated, remember? Oh, the munition field manual. Okay, that makes sense. Was there a new version of it today? Oh, it was a YouTuber, the early access. See, that's why I don't want to be in the early access scheme, because I'm sure I would fuck up and release something early and get in trouble. This way I can't get in trouble. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. Hey, hey, hey. Man, I miss the Prodigy. Seems like somebody always, like some YouTuber somewhere always leaks something, or some picture gets forgotten. It always happens. It's a can of worms, I feel like. The jump pack captain's 85 points. I think that's what the firstborn one cost, like roughly 85 points. So I guess they've just literally replaced the firstborn jump pack captain with the Primaris captain for the same amount of points. I think the Primaris captain has less weapon options though, right? Because the firstborn one could take a Thunderhammer, and are they phasing out Thunderhammers? Is that what is happening? I don't really know, but I feel like if that new jump captain doesn't have a Thunderhammer, which they never mentioned in the community article, you know what? I could have probably gone and looked at the sprue, but I never bothered. I guess my question is, are they phasing out Thunderhammers from Marine characters? Is that what they're trying to do? Jump Intercessors are 85 points for 5. I mean, I was going to say, is that good? I can't decide. They only have chainswords. I have a big problem with them only having chainswords. Yeah, they do like 3 mortal wounds when you charge 5 of them. But I just don't know what I feel like. Is 85 points enough to do 3 mortal wounds and then some chainsword hits? Oh well, like I said, tomorrow night on the Grotz channel, I'll link the Grotz channel at the end of the stream. If you're not subscribed to it, please do. We have a podcast, comes out every 2 weeks. We're going to be talking about as much of the new Space Marine stuff as possible. I'm afraid Thunderhammers and Lightning Claws are going away for a lot of Marines. Thunderhammers aren't on the sprues. Do you know what? If Thunderhammers go away for a lot of Marines, maybe it's a good thing, because maybe they would go back to them, like on the Terminators, for example, the Assault Terminators, and make them 3 damage again, right? Like if Thunderhammers are only on a few units, it maybe opens up the doors for them to make them 3 damage again. Because I think being 2 damage kind of killed Thunderhammers for me. Well, one, you already got a -1 to hit for having a Thunderhammer, and then the fact they took away one of the damage, which was arguably like, well, it's only 1 point of damage, but it's actually a 33% decrease in their damage. And before it was -1 to hit, whereas now you're hitting with a worse weapon skill, and -1 to hit was, arguably it's worse to have the bad weapon skill than it is to have -1 to hit, right? Because -1 to hit wouldn't stack with other -1 to hits, whereas -1 to hit will stack with a worse weapon skill. So you basically got like a double negative there and a double negative in the points cost. So Thunderhammers took, like, for me, I think it was pretty big. Some people don't rate it as big, but I think it's pretty big. And I was fighting Death Guard a few weeks back, and they were basically saying, like, some of my units into the Death Guard were -2 to hit, because it's worsening my weapon skill by 1, and it's worsening my hit chance to 1. So if you have Thunderhammers into that unit of Death Guard, you're hitting on 6s. If you're only hitting on 6s, I don't know how you're doing any damage whatsoever. Same here, but the Jump Captain can have a Thunderhammer and Storm Shield. It's just not in the kit, which is a strange... What, so they left that on the datasheet, but they took it off the kit? If they left it on the datasheet in Codex Marines, then I mean, that's valid for all of 10th edition, I guess, because they're not going to release a second Marine Codex. Just strange they would take it off the kit and leave the option in the datasheet. I mean, I bought the kit because I thought... Because I've got 2 Primaris Captains already with jump packs with Thunderhammers that I built. I think I built one in 8th edition and one in 9th edition. Because I built them on different base sizes because I wasn't sure what size base that the Primaris Captain would eventually come on. So I was kind of convinced that they'd removed the Thunderhammer because balance. Sounds not, though. Alright, last guy I'm going to take off. I feel like I got a bit of progress done tonight. Probably not enough. I never get enough done progress for my... I always overestimate what I can get done in time. Or underestimate... I think I must read chat too much, but I need to read chat to see what you guys are saying. Listen, GW is super inconsistent with rules matching their kit stuff, but such cases like the Jump Captain, he still has the options. I'm only glad. I think that they should release a separate sprue with Space Marine weapon options and give more weapon options across the board. That's what I would like to see. I don't think we'll get that, but regardless, that's what I would like to see. Twin Lightning Claws and Infernal Pistols have been removed from the new captain with jump pack data sheet, but Thunderhammer can still be taken. Strange for me, actually. You can still have the Relic Shield as well, right? I asked a question earlier and maybe it got missed, or maybe I missed the reply. Can this new jump captain have an Infernal Pistol for Blood Angels? Do we know if that's... Do we know if we've still got that, or have we lost the ability to have an Infernal Pistol? No, he's not allowed one? We would like to see that as an addendum to the Blood Angels rules later, but we don't know, similar to Black Templars. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see that, because I do hope that we get to keep our Infernal Pistols. I mean, it makes a lot of sense with, like, our chapter identity, those Infernal Pistols, I feel like. Alright, any last questions, guys? If not, as soon as I'm done this guy's base, I'm taking off. I'll be back tomorrow night, 9:30 for the grots. Thank you everyone that hung out tonight. Thank you for staying so long. If you did enjoy the stream tonight, please leave a like, or please leave a like, or a comment, or whatever. If you disliked it, you can dislike it too. I understand. You can do that. If you disliked it, why the hell have you been here for 3 hours? Final question, which 3 words does your 1-year-old say? He says Dada, Mama, and Car. We're convinced that he wants to be a driver of sorts, because he just walks down the street pointing at every car and saying car over and over and over and over. Like, probably like 2 months ago he said thank you when I gave him some food. I gave him some food and he said, Michael, say thank you, and he said thank you, and then he's never said thank you again since. Now he just says Dada, Mama, and Car. I was going to say, you were hoping he was going to say like Dante or something, weren't you? My kids don't get into this room much. I'm too worried about them destroying my Warhammer toys to let them into this room all that much. So if they're ever in here, it's like under supervision, and we've actually got a stair gate on the other side of the door, so they can't just wander in here randomly. Can you say horse yet? No, but that would have been funny if that was his first word, wouldn't it? Then you would know he had the gene seed. If you take a relic shield, if you take a you need to take the relic shield if you take the thunderhammer. Oh, interesting. So you can't choose to take the thunderhammer in a pistol or something. You have to take the relic shield. The relic shield doesn't give you all that much value until this whole squad's dead now, which is... Yeah. I was thinking that I was building my new Primaris Captain with a Power Fist, and the more you speak about it here in chat, the more I think I'm going to do it. So I'm not sure I'm seeing all that much value in the Thunderhammer idea. Magnets, says Reziel, rules change, you need to future-proof. I mean, every time I don't use magnets, Reziel, I regret it. But like I said, I already got 2 captains, one with Thunderhammer. I think both of them actually have Thunderhammers, because I think in 8th edition I was running 2 Smash captains. And I was using Primaris models to do that. And I built 2 with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields, because the Smash Captain was like 129 points in 8th edition, but he could kill like a 600 point model in a turn himself. He was completely... He was more broken than those aggressors are right now, honestly. Like, I think I had a Smash Captain killing a Strayus tank in 1 turn. Because you could get about 8 attacks, hitting on 2s, re-rolling, probably wounding on 2s. And they could be like -3, 4 damage each. And then you could fight for a second time. And it was even sweeter was it was Andrew's Iron Hand Astraeus. So he had like a 6-up Feel No Pain on the Astraeus as well, on like 28 wounds, and we still killed it in 1 turn. With like a 129 point character. He loved that, by the way. That made him so happy when that happened. He didn't say something like, "Oh, Blood Angels are bullshit," or anything like that, I promise you. Happy days. Alright, 5 heavy intercessors. They have a little bit more colour on them. They have some texture paint on the base. We made some progress. Thank you for hanging out, guys. My 30+ hour still looking shit captain is now obsolete with a Thunderhammer and Lightning Claw. I wonder if you could just stick a Storm Shield to the Lightning Claw arm, or cut off the claws on the Lightning Claw arm and stick a shield onto it or something like that. Or put a magnet on the back of the put a magnet on the back of the Lightning Claw. Would that work? Anyway, tomorrow night, 9:30, 3 grots. We're diving into Codex Space Marines. If you've got questions or you just want to come hang out, we'll be here from 9:30, I think. Thanks so much for watching tonight, guys. Thanks for the super chats. There was some of you. Peaches the Destroyer, and thanks to the new members, and thanks to all the existing members as well, and everyone that watches. DTM's lost his gifted sub again. We're gonna have to get someone to give gifted subs at some point, so DTM can become back. He is our most valuable rules person, isn't he? If they have the weapon option, Serenade thinks it means that they might have a special edition captain with a thunder hammer that they might release later. That's a good point. Yeah, I wish Games Workshop would be a bit more transparent with all the things they do, but they're not, so we just have to deal with it, I guess. The way the world works. Alright guys, enjoy your evening. Thanks for watching. Nice to see you all. We'll speak tomorrow night. Peace.